As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. It is Friday, November 1st, and no, we are not in costumes anymore. We're back, all right? We're back. No
costumes were fun.
No,
I enjoyed the costumes a little bit. I almost went costumes every single day of the week, to be honest.
Just keep the Bam Bam costume on. Yeah, we got a big show planned for today, man. A lot of breaking down the Lions, Packers. We got Dusty heavily joining the show. He covers the Packers. He'll be joining, so that'll be fun. We got our pick'em and our records updated. See you take.
I'm interested to see.
Hey, we'll see how those records look for the now. Where were we? Week 9, I think we're in now, which is
crazy.
Yeah,
it's even crazier when you look at it like for the college football season. Like, goddamn, like the regular season for college football season's like almost over.
Yep, I think we're what? Lions are 6-1. What are they? 6-1.
Yep, 6-1 with the bye. 7 weeks in, 8 weeks in. We're through 8 weeks so far in the NFL season.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
We're here, boys. A lot of stuff transpired today. Mike Tannenbaum had a crazy, ridiculous trade, which we posted, and everyone decided to copy the caption and repost it. And shout out to Booner for that.
By the way, can I address too? I just want to say, Bonjay, shout out Grassi, man. We did speak with him. I actually spoke with him today and yesterday. He does a stream at the same time as us. So especially like Thursday Night Football last night, he does his stream. Tonight he has a Q&A. I maybe next week, but if not, 100% for the next Packers game. Tom, he is good to go. It was just timing wise, the Thursday, Friday probably should have hit him up earlier to do Monday, Tuesday, but it's tough. And Wednesday we have Doc and Tom Grassi's an absolute legend, but it's tough to. I'll tell you what, it's tough to move the Doc section around.
Yeah, that's locked in for life.
As soon as if I ever text the Doc, if we text the Doc and say, "Hey, Doc, can you do a different day?" We don't want any trouble, Doc.
It's
nothing on us.
Hey, it's just loyalty. Even Grassi respects it. You know what I mean? It's just loyalty to the Doc.
He knows. He knows Doc Wednesdays on crunch time. He knows.
Yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, honestly, who doesn't?
He will. Tom Grassi will join us whether next week or for the Packers game, the next Packers second one.
Yeah.
Which that's like, I think, don't they play? Is that like Thanksgiving?
It's like there's not that far in between.
No, they play the Bears Thanksgiving.
Oh, Bears Thanksgiving. Okay. Yeah.
What were we saying, Klotz?
I would say like the Packers, like compared to the rest of, like I think that they go the Packers again before they go over against the other NFC North teams.
Yeah,
like there's not that much distance between the game, probably like a month or so.
Yeah, so it'll be soon.
Streams only says the glaze for that, man.
Hey,
come on, the Doc.
Oh yeah, Doc is.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he really is. I know, like we do hype him up, rightfully so. He's just, I mean. We've known Doc. He's done a lot of stuff for us, like off air too. He's just a good dude. He is. He's very opinionated. That's what makes him great.
He is for sure.
LTL fan says might see a trade tomorrow, guys. You know how we've been doing things on Crunch Time. Whenever something happens, I try to put out a breaking news video. I've been locked in to like waiting. Like if something pops out, I can't do it. Like I've been just like chilling because I'm like it could happen at any moment. Now we're at Friday, and I'm like, damn, like it still hasn't happened. I think it's my money's on Monday or Tuesday, the deadline. I think that he makes it. That's how Brad Holmes is going to operate. It's right when it's crunch time, no pun intended. He's going to make a trade.
What do you think it's like for if you're feeling like that, Jeff? What do you think AG's feeling like when he's just like, give me something? He's seeing that the Chiefs are going to get edge rushers, Baltimore's getting receivers when they need it, and he knows that Brad can draft help. He's just like, Brad. One time, just make a defensive move at the trade deadline, please. Because that man, he can only do so much for so long before I would just, if I was him, just absolutely just be stressed the fuck out.
Yeah,
it's just like,
I'm sure AG's like popping in his office, like, what's going on, Brad? Good morning. He's like, what are you working on today?
Nothing, Aaron.
Okay. You talk to anyone? Anyone at
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Called him Jameer and a couple first-round picks for Myles Garrett.
Well, that's a good transition.
I don't think too. By the way, I'm just looking at it. There's going to be no trade until Monday. I'll just throw that out there. I don't think like last Saturday, Sunday there was no trade. There's usually not trades this late into the week.
Yeah, and by the way, big shout out to Danny Bennett and Detroit Lands on Tap. He cooked with this graphic. It's beautiful. But
what a graphic! Yeah, shout out. Unbelievable.
This is the trade.
That's the D, baby.
And Mike Tannenbaum, a former GM, but also Braylon Edwards GM. He spoke highly about Braylon on Get Up, so shout out to him for that. But besides that, the take he had about trading Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 first-round picks, and a second-round pick for Myles Garrett is just I think he said it. He made Ryan Clark walk off the stage.
Bart Scott was appalled.
Yeah, Bart Scott checked his cup, make sure nothing was in it, any alcohol, any liquor. But this is just the dumbest. It just makes no sense on both. And I love Myles Garrett, but like Jahmyr,
unbelievable.
I mean, what are we doing?
I would like to know.
You can replace him, Jeff.
Yeah, I would like to. And by the way, Mike Tannenbaum, word for word, did say Jahmyr Gibbs is you could replace Jahmyr Gibbs, like word for word, Jeff. So when I heard that, I thought of you. I would just love to like have seen in the morning as they're prepping the show or the night before when they're going through their segments and they're like going segment by segment. Hey, Mike Tannenbaum's like, hey, can I have a segment? I have a trade proposal. And he's like, yeah, text it to me. Text it to the graphic guy. The graphic guy will make the lower thirds and the graphics for it. And the graphic guy receives this and just goes, is this text him back? Like, I think you missed, like, did you mistype something here? Did you mean Jahmyr Gibbs? Did you mean 3 first? Like, what are we doing? This might be, honestly, it actually might be the worst. Not an exaggeration, the worst sports take I have ever seen in the history of, like, in my lifetime on TV. It quite frankly is the worst sports take and worst trade proposal, not just in football, in any sport, college basketball, football, the NFL, basketball, hockey, soccer, badminton,
it's like historically bad,
polo, anything. I've never seen a sports take this bad. Like, it is literally the worst sports take of all time. I mean, this is worse than Klotz putting the Chiefs at 6. This is worse than Klotz going on record saying that he doesn't like CJ Stroud. This is the worst sports take I've ever seen in my life.
Where does it align with Kyle Pitts ATDs? What does it align?
That looks like a great take compared to this one, to be honest. This was it was ridiculous. When I saw this, I was just on Twitter this morning and I saw it come through and I'm like, this can't be real. This has to be a joke. And then to even go a step further, I clipped it and posted it. And I was like, I didn't even realize, guys, like, I thought it was insane. 1 first and 1 second for Jahmyr Gibbs. I was like, that's nuts. And I put that in our tweet. And then people commenting underneath are like, no, Booner, it's 3 first rounds. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we doing, Paul? Is it Paul, right? Mike.
Mike, yeah.
Mike.
Paul.
Sorry, yeah. You deserve it. You deserve. You deserve. Hey, he deserves to be in the same sentence as Paul Feinbaum. I'm probably disrespecting Paul for putting Mike's name in there.
Paul
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Paul would never trade away an SEC running back like that. But you could honestly probably get Myles Garrett from the Browns right now for 3 first-round picks. Like the second
just
round
alone.
pick. Jahmyr, you to your point, Booner, like probably like 1 or 2 first by how desperate they are right now. They could use anything. But now you just slide in like the 2nd round pick where Brad Holmes drafts Sam LaPorta and Brian Branch and players like that. And then, just the guy who's been cooking over the last 3 games for the Detroit Lions more than anybody. And when they have Nick Chubb already, by the way, what do they need? A quarterback. They need they need some parts on the defensive line, the offensive line. You give them Jahmyr Gibbs. Because Mike Tannenbaum, like after Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted, went on the record and was like, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to be a good back for you in 5 years, but after that, you're going to be searching for another one. It's like, no, dude. Like this, the thing is with Jahmyr Gibbs is he's not Travis Etienne. Like that, if he was performing like Travis Etienne, then maybe like even after like you take out the 3 first-round picks, it'd be like 1 and Travis Etienne if you're going to send him. But Jahmyr Gibbs is just a different type of player. Like if any team were to trade Jahmyr Gibbs in his 2nd year on the contract, they're going to be watching for the next 5 to 6 years of Jahmyr Gibbs just being a dominant running back, because what are you going to do to replace him? Like, this team is carried on the offensive side of the ball because, like Booner said, this is one of the best offenses you've seen, at least in the last 15 years. Like, on paper, on production, then you want to really watch how efficient they are. You take Jahmyr Gibbs off this team. I know, Jeff, running backs are replaceable, but there are some that just aren't, and Jahmyr Gibbs is one of them. Like, the complete dynamic of this offense changes.
You've been winning football games because of your offense. Like, you have the best offense in the NFL, historically good offense, and you're just going to take one of the best weapons off of that. I don't even know. You know what's crazy? It's like crazy that we have to even have this conversation because it's a 0% chance of ever trading Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, there is no way. You're essentially giving away 4 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and whatever the other, a third round or whatever. I don't know what the guy said. Honestly, it was just so bad. Like, that, it's such a bad trade. He should be banned and fired from ESPN. Like, ESPN has been firing all these people. How is Mike? How does this guy have a job still? They fired everyone. How does this guy have a job? They fired guys that I like to listen to, and they got rid of it. Unbelievable. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't even know what else to say.
Here comes Jeff. Well, maybe take out the 3 first-round picks, but Jahmyr in the second do every day of the week.
No.
You could see him over there thinking about his gears were turning.
He's trying to find a way, Boone.
No. I see. Shout out Trey, by the way. He's a fucking legend. He says, but Jeff says running backs are easy to come by. Let me explain. It's not even about Jahmyr's talent. He is uber talented. He's one of the most talented running backs in the league. But,
oh my God,
running backs historically, and this isn't about me. I don't want to trade him. Like, that trade is dumb. But we're just talking about, like, Mike Tannenbaum's take about maybe looking for a new running back in 5 years. I don't think is that crazy. I mean,
we're not talking about that though. Let's get this clear.
I'm just saying.
Let's be very clear.
I'm just curious. Jahmyr's so good. I wonder what it'll take to keep him. That's all. And with all the players they need to re-sign, where would Jahmyr rank on like the priority list? You know what I mean?
This is not the I want to hear what your thoughts are on the trade.
Oh, we already said it. It would never happen.
Okay.
But yeah, like think about how much Brad Holmes, like, he stuck a leg out for Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, he could have taken numerous defensive players. He could, like, they traded back, and it was thought, like, I know Jalen Carter went 10, but they were like, everybody wanted Jalen Carter. And you think about all the people that won that top 10. You think about Christian Gonzalez, who went the pick one or two picks after him, and he takes a running back. Brad Holmes is not trading that running back away. He will trade Jack Campbell. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is probably like one of the 5 or 6 untouchable players in the Detroit line. There's no way that man leaves Detroit on his rookie contract.
He won't leave on his rookie contract. No way.
He's going to sign. He's going to sign an extension.
Yeah.
There are guys you have to sign, and Jahmyr Gibbs is like not just like the top 3 running back. He's one of the best weapons in the entire NFL. It would be kind of silly to walk away from that.
Ryan Clark dropped the bar at the end when he's like, they just got a nickname. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They got Sonic and Knuckles. You don't trade a guy that just got a nickname for the number 1 offense in the NFL. Like, you just don't do that.
And by the way,
I mean, it's absolute. This is nuts that this trade, unbelievable. Should be embarrassed.
You got 3 years. You got 3 years of control over Jahmyr Gibbs
and Demont because he just signed his extension.
3. Yeah, so that's something. You'll handle that when you handle it. But right now, he's not. Yeah, it's a dumb idea. It's not happening. Why would you trade Jahmyr? They should not ever trade Jahmyr on his rookie. There's no way. I mean, you're not trading him at all. The only thing you'd have to decide, and the only reason I brought it up is just see who's, at the time with everyone bringing back. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. We don't have to get into it today. It's fine. We'll save it for another day.
It is embarrassing that this guy's on live TV. I'm sorry. I just can't get over it.
Good old Mike Tannenbaum. Whenever he says something dumb, I'm like, here come the comments of, well, that's why you're not a GM anymore. It's always like back. It's like, this is why, this is why you're not a GM anymore, Mike Tannenbaum. And he can't come back from that. I mean,
I'll say, is it wrong though? Like, I don't know if it is.
When you come out with a trade like that, like,
and think you cooked a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just not.
He did trade for Braylon, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the only thing they did that was probably good. Shout out, Steve. He says Jeff was thinking that I would slap him the next time he comes over.
What'd you do, Jeff?
Not shit. Not doing shit. But hey, yeah, he is a big Jahmyr guy. All right, he is. That's fair. But he has to understand, I mean, just like everyone else, that tough decisions will be made at some point. We'll move on, though. Don't want to get into that conversation. Let's get into Lions Packers, huh? More positive. All right. Screw the dumb trade. All right. Let's talk about the matchup this weekend. All right. It's supposed to rain. 100% guarantee rain. It's going to be crappy. It's going to be mucky. You know, the Lions are wearing white jerseys. So Dan said it. He's excited for some gritty football. Boys going to get some grass stains. It's going to be some old school football. This is Dan Campbell. This is the type of game that he lives for. Like, this is throwback, old school, pound the rock, physical football, smash mouth football. And honestly, the Lions have every advantage, I think, here. Like, I think their team is better. They're built better to not only travel in different environments, but play in different weather, because their offense, like Bill Belichick put it so great when he was talking about their offense, they can beat you in so many different ways. Remember when Bill brought it up? He was talking to Jared Goff. Yeah, he was like, I don't know. Like, Bill's the greatest defensive mind, and even he was like, I don't fucking know. Like, I mean, you slow down the run, and we got all these weapons, and if you try and stop the weapons, you're gonna run all over us. And if you could beat us with explosives, you could beat us in the run game and get explosive plays in the run game. Or you can just death by 1,000 cuts, and Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta can just, nickel and dime you all the way up the field, or J-Mo can hit you over the top. So and they don't turn the ball over that much. So it's like, how do you really stop this offense? You have the best offensive line in football, the best backfield in football, an MVP conversation quarterback, and you got some of the best wide receivers, or at least a very top wide receiver and some upcoming wide receivers, some good wide receivers, and honestly, a top 3 tight end in the league, even though he's not playing like it. But still, we know what he is. We know what he did last year. So to Bill Belichick's point, we could talk all day about and I know James was suspended. I see Anakin. Yeah, he's not going to be there. But still, like, you still have Tim Patrick. He'll be fine. He's capable. And they're not going to – I don't think you're going to need these big plays. Like, I think, to me, in the passing game, this is a Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra type of game. And then you have the 2 running backs, which, Dave Montgomery loves to play in Lambeau Field. I mean, check his numbers there, even dating back to Chicago. So we can talk all day. We talked about it yesterday. The run defense against Josh Jacobs, or – Jordan Love, he's playing. What does it look like? But guess what? You have to mention what this Packers defense, they're going to have their fucking hands full on Sunday against this Lions offense. And I'm very excited for this matchup, because like Peter put on our show yesterday when he joined, the host of Locked On Packers, he said that the new defensive coordinator of the Packers has not seen this Lions offense yet. This is new, new for him. And he's going to have his hands full. And you see Xavier McKinney speak about it. We'll play that clip. Yeah. We'll talk more about the offense. I don't want to play it now. But this game, to me, fellas, I give the advantage on the road just because of how this team's built to the Detroit Lions. Like, they're going to thrive in this type of weather, this environment. They're already comfortable playing in Green Bay, and they've beaten them, 5 of the last 6 times or something like that. This is a new era. This isn't no longer Packers, little brother Lions. You're flipping the script a little bit. Now it's Lions or big bro. All right. Yeah. You could say, Jeff, what about the last 3 decades? I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about only the last 6 games. Relevant. Fits my narrative. And I'm going with the Detroit Lions on Sunday, and we'll get to our score predictions later. But, man, I'm excited. And the Lions offense, and even their defense, and again, we'll break that more down in depth, but because we're all going to mention a defensive player that maybe we need to see step up. But I love this game for the Lions, boys. They're favored on the road, and as they should be.
I thought you were about to just pull a Klotzy and give your score predictions in the first 20 minutes of the show. Yeah, no, Jeff, I mean, I'm with you. I think this game, it's going to be an interesting game. It's crazy to me. Like, when you look at this, is the best 2 teams in the NFC that are playing right now, as of right now. This is guys, like, this could be an NFC championship preview on Sunday. So this is a big time game. And I agree, Jeff. I have full confidence that the Lions go out there and dominate. There is no question for me. I think they own the I think they kind of every single matchup you look at, I think you can give it to the Lions, most of them. And they should win this football game. That's why they're favored on the road. When you're favored on the road, that's tough. That's big time. That means you're that much better. But I do think there are things it's going to be a tough game. And would I be surprised? And don't take this the wrong way, guys, because we do have score predictions later. So before you judge me here, would I be surprised if this is a close game and the Lions drop one? Like, no. Like, this is one of those games on the road, the rain, in Lambeau. Like, these are one of those games that just in any NFL team, like, even like, guys, if the Chiefs went there to Lambeau Field in the rain this Sunday, they're going to be in a tough spot trying to, it's a tough football game. Score prediction I have later. I promise you I don't have the Packers. But just a couple things, like, at least for me, guys. First of all, Jeff, you know how I feel about the grass. And, hey, Dan said we're wearing the all whites. We're getting muddy. We're going to get some grass stains. You know me, I love becoming one with the earth. When we golf, I get you know what I mean?
You literally are one with the earth.
I get some grass stains. I do a little snow, a grass angel. Make sure, hey, you got to feel one with the earth. It reminds me of football and football weather, and I love it so much. So these guys are going to be ready to go. There's one thing that I noticed going through this game, though, boys. I looked at this. What is it here? The ranking comparison for them, offensively and defensively. Something stood out to me. And this is why I think the Detroit Lions are going to win handedly. And I think they win by a touchdown around there. I'm not going to give the score prediction out. The red zone, Jeff. The red zone battle. The Detroit Lions, ever since that Buccaneers game, the Detroit Lions have dominated in the red zone. And while I've been talking, you guys are like, Booner, what are you doing over there? I've been trying. Oh, and I just found it. I was trying to find in my notes. I went back and looked at every single matchup since that Bucs game when they went, what was it, 1 for 7 or 1 for 8 in the red zone, or I think it was 1 for 7. And I was like, what have they done since that game in the red zone? Arizona, guys, 2 for 2 in the red zone. Seattle, 5 for 5. Dallas, 3 for 5. Minnesota, 1 for 1. Tennessee, 5 for 5. Since the game where they went 1-7 versus Tampa, guys, 4 out of the 5 of those games, the Detroit Lions were perfect in the red zone. 16 for 18 total. And the only game that they didn't score in the red zone was the Dallas Cowboys, where they were 3 for 5 in the red zone and blew the Dallas Cowboys out. That's how good the Lions have been in the red zone.
That's wild.
Like, they have been basically unstoppable inside the 20-yard line in scoring. So when I looked at this, and I don't know why we didn't really talk about it all week, but when I looked at it, the Lions right now are 7th in the NFL in red zone offense. And one of the worst ranked things that the Green Bay Packers are on their football team, their red zone defense, 20th in the NFL, the bottom half of the NFL. And then if you want to flip the script on the other side, the red zone defensively for the Detroit Lions are top 10, sitting at 9th in red zone defense, in that bend don't break, not giving up points in the red zone, 9th in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers offensively, guys, are 25th in the NFL in red zone offense. Like, that is glaring to me. That is glaring to me. And in the NFL, guys, it's turnovers and finishing possessions. And the Lions are one of the best teams in the NFL over the last 5 weeks and finishing in the red zone. And they have dominated doing that. And the Packers are one of the worst teams at stopping it and one of the worst teams in the red zone offensively. The Lions are going to win this football game just one based off of that. And as well as, hey, win the turnover battle. I get the Packers are first in the NFL in turnovers. Lions are second. And then if you want to go dig deeper, or offensively, the Lions are 5th in the NFL like takeaway or giveaways. They don't turn the ball over. They have not been turning the ball over. They're top 5 in taking care of the rock this year. Like, the Lions right now, to me, they outweigh everything for this Green Bay team. I'm pumped up for the game. I know the rain's going to be a massive factor, and it's going to be a little scary because you don't know how the Jared Goff thing. I saw a stat. Jared Goff's only played like 2 or 3 times in the rain in Detroit or something like that. Like, it hasn't been a lot, and one of them was to the Packers and was a loss. But I don't think it's going to be that case this week. I think you just pound the ball. You have D-Mount, you have Gibbs, and just rely on your offensive line. That's what I think it comes down to.
Yeah, boys, I'm not worried about Jared Goff. And honestly, I agree with you, Booner. Like, I'm not going to be flipping out if the Packers beat the Lions because the Packers are a top 5 team in the NFL. You're at their home. They're a home underdog. So they got a lot of things going their way, including injuries. But I just look at what the Lions did last time they went into Lambeau, especially starting the season off. When they beat them 34-20 at home, the conditions weren't even really that bad. I think it was a Thursday night game. I could be wrong. It was a primetime game. David Montgomery had 32 carries for 3 touchdowns. So they're going to run the ball. They're going to keep to that formula. And the whole, like, Jared Goff turnover thing, kind of what you guys already spoke on. Like, I have more confidence in this defense, the Detroit Lions creating turnovers then an injured Jordan Love, who's already tied for the league lead in interceptions with 9. Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, and Jordan Love all have 9 interceptions, and Jordan Love has missed a couple of games. So Jordan Love's going to turn the ball over. Jared Goff is one of probably the most efficient quarterback in the NFL right now, and I don't think that it's close. So the turnover battle defensively, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be just fine. And then you look at the offensive side of the ball. Green Bay's run defense is top 15 in the league. It's all right. But then you look at the Lions, the teams ahead of them, like, for example, the Minnesota Vikings are 3rd in rush yards. We all know what happened to the Minnesota Vikings run defense against the Detroit Lions. And same thing with the Tennessee Titans, who are 8th right now. The Lions had no problem running on them. So the fact that, to your guys' point, defensive coordinator hasn't seen Ben Johnson, and I guarantee that Ben Johnson has been holding on to critical plays because he knows that the Packers are coming up. You don't want to show key looks that you can use to take advantage of the Packers defense against the Tennessee Titans, against the Dallas Cowboys when you're in the red zone, you're up 40 points. Like, yeah, we'll throw a back shoulder fade to Taylor Decker now and just keep those key run plays so Green Bay doesn't have a look. So I think this is the game that Ben Johnson, he's been putting on his bulletin board for the first half of the season. So I'm really excited to see what happens. Going to be a good, close game. It's probably going to be a little ugly, but the Detroit Lions are the more physical football team, so I love their chances here.
Yeah, it's like, who has the advantage in this type of environment? It's the Lions. Like, it just is. And Josh Jacobs has been very good, and I'm sure they're going to want to run the ball. But the fact is, Lions have the better offensive line, the better running backs, the better offensive coordinator. So they have the advantage there in terms of, like, okay, if both teams are going to keep the ball on the ground, who is going to have more success doing that? It's the Lions. Like, even statistically, when we bring up the Lions, like, yeah, the last 3 games, they've given up a little more rushing yards, but they're still a better ranked run defense than the Packers. The Packers are 10th. So, like, when you talk about this matchup specifically, okay, let's look at how the game's going to be played. Who has the advantage? The Detroit Lions offensively. Okay, well, what could hurt them? Turnovers. Oh yeah, the Packers turn the ball over more. So, you know, there's just those stats alone advantage Lions, or just those points alone advantage Lions. And Xavier McKinney, who's a huge X factor in this game, you know how you take his impact away. You don't push the ball downfield, which they probably won't too much because of the weather. So Xavier McKinney won't have those opportunities, you know, as much as he's had this season, given the weather. So it's gonna help out. And I want to play this clip from Xavier McKinney. He spoke about the Lions offense, and he had a quote in here that I want you guys to kind of listen to, and I want your opinion on it. But here's Xavier McKinney meeting with the media.
What do you need to do, knowing the arsenal of trick plays they have up their sleeve? They will do weird formations, put different shaped guys, different positions. I mean, an offensive lineman split out wide against the Cowboys. They do some crazy stuff, right?
Yeah. In my opinion, I think they try to embarrass people. And I think, you know, this organization and the players we have in here, they don't really take that, you know, lightly. And we know, that's what they're going to come here and try to do. So, you know, our job is to, like I said, again, make sure that we're on our keys and make sure that, you know, everybody has disciplined eyes and still, you know, going out there and playing fast. But we know that's the game that they like to get into. And so for us, we just got to, do what we do, and we'll be all right.
Well, he had the quote in there, Lions like to embarrass people. Well, real quick, Paul, appreciate it for the super sticker.
Shout out Paul, man.
Paul. But yeah, Xavier McKinney there, they like to embarrass people. Here's a concept, Xavier McKinney. Let me just talk to you for a second. All right, here's a concept. If teams that don't want to be embarrassed, stop them. You know? It's really that simple. I know you're waiting on this long. Like, no, it's that simple. You don't want them to embarrass teams. Those teams should stop them. You know, it's that I don't believe, and this is just my thoughts on like sports in general. This applies to any sport. I don't have sympathy for teams being blown out. Like, I just don't. It's your fault. Especially Lions fans, you understand how that feels. So I just don't have sympathy. Like, I saw the Panthers players accused the Broncos of running up the score. And Sean Payton was like, dude, we're scoring. Like, stop us.
Welcome to the NFL.
Like there's no like, oh, we're up multiple touchdowns. Let's just slow it down. Have you guys seen the Vikings game and the Vikings Colts game from 2 years ago? Like, do we forget that the Vikings were down like 33-0 and came back and won? Do we forget the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan and Tom Brady, 28-3? You thought they should have slowed down You know what I mean? Like that's actually the problem. So I hate that like thought process that maybe people that aren't on the Lions or that are facing the Lions or other fan bases just have this like mindset of like, oh, boo-hoo, they like to embarrass teams. Yeah. And I hope, you know what? Run it up. Denver got put up. Miami scored 70 on Denver's defense last year, and I'm sure Denver had that in their mind when they were blowing out the Panthers. Same thing applies to the Lions. Like their first year with Dan Campbell, teams are blowing them out. You ever hear Dan Campbell say, I thought it was disrespectful. They kept running up the score. No, Dan understands it. Like, we're going to try and stop you, and if we can't, you're going to blow us out. So I hate that mindset. That
I mean, it might be literally the worst. I know we had the Mike Tannenbaum take, or like this is brutal. Like, what are we in middle school? Is this elementary? Is this Pee-wee football? Like, let's not run the score up and have a mercy rule. Like, you're in the NFL. Like, there's going to be I don't know what guy like Xavier McKinney is talking about when it comes to that. The Lions are just that much better than some teams. It's not like they're sitting there and they're like, hey, let's go score. Like, they have literally, the Detroit Lions have taken their starters out in 2 fourth quarters this season. And we're 8 weeks into the year. They have taken their starters out in 2 games this year. And you're talking about they're bad. And what was the exact term? I'm sorry, Jeff. What was the exact
They
term?
like to embarrass opponent. Like, they like to embarrass people.
He said something else after, did he not? I think I can't remember the quote, the full quote. I could pull it up. But like, what are we doing here? Like, why are you calling teams out for blowing teams out? You're in the NFL. Like, step up and win the game. Like, what are we? I think it's more embarrassing for him to go out there and say that. I don't know what the rest of that quote was, but like, just putting that out there, that's unbelievable. Just because a team's that good and you think that's embarrassing for them to do. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I want to. What did he say here? Oh, he said, they don't take that lightly. I saw something else that he. I don't really respect that. I think that was the terms he used. I just saw here. He said he doesn't really respect that. Oh, you don't respect Xavier? Hey, Xavier, you don't respect a team being good at football? You don't respect greatness? Because that's what's going through the Detroit Lions organization right now, is that this team is just that good. They will blow you out. And I cannot wait. Pause. Pause. I saw Klotz look at me on the side. Pause. But like, honestly, that's what it is. It's just the Lions are that good. Like, again, they have taken the starters out in 2 fourth quarters. They easily could have kept starters in and scored 70 points. Like, what about the Dolphins last year when they scored 70-something points on a team? That wasn't disrespectful. You're okay with that? No one wanted to come out and say that was disrespectful for the Dolphins to put 70-something up on a team. Like, what are we doing here? This is the NFL. We put 50 up twice and taking the starters out because we put 50 up. It's embarrassing for NFL players to have those type of conversations or those comments being like, oh, we don't respect that. You don't respect greatness then. That's what I hear out of Xavier McKinney. You don't respect greatness. You don't want good football.
It goes back to the age-old saying of don't let my confidence affect your insecurity, and that's what's happening right now because Xavier McKinney's putting up all the stat lines, but he still knows that Packers defense is vulnerable, and I don't understand how you can say it's disrespectful or Lions embarrassing people when you look that they're doing it through all 3 phases of the game. Like, sorry, Khalif Raymond's just returning every kick past the 50-yard line. Oh, yeah, so is Khalil Dorsey. So the Lions offense, who's best in the league, going up against the Tennessee Titans defense, who's just not able to compete. Like, they're going to score every time. The Lions, in the time of possession, like, it wasn't even close to what it should have been in that game. Jared Goff threw for 85 yards. Is that offense embarrassing people when they throw for 85 yards? No. They're just simply the better team. So when you see a team that's just on a different level, you're going to feel some type of way, especially when you see them go into Minnesota and beat that team who went into Lambeau and beat you. Like, yeah, I think right now that the Packers and the whole NFL is just very aware that right now the Detroit Lions are the best football team. And it's going to make them feel some type of way, especially like Xavier McKinney played on the Giants, so he knows what it was like to be a losing team. He's going to the Packers thinking he's going to win a Super Bowl, but then you see a team who was losing just like the Giants were in the Detroit Lions, and now they're very good. And why couldn't that be you in New York? So I think there's a lot of things going on with Xavier McKinney. He knows he's got Sam Laporta. He knows he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown. And, oh, yeah, you're going to have to see Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery break past that front 7, and you're going to have to try to tackle him one-on-one. So I think there's a lot of things that Xavier McKinney's just not comfortable with, but he's playing great football, so he can mask that with a little bit of confidence. The Lions, I hope they see this. I hope Dan puts it on bulletin board material that people are thinking that they're being disrespectful and they're just playing football. So that's a great thing for the Lions. I'm sure Lions players hear this and they're just smiling. Like, what do you want? Mason Rudolph throws a cross. You just don't want Kirby Joseph to intercept it. You just want him to they're making plays every game. Like, I'm sorry, this is just a well-coached and talented football team.
I have an idea, actually, Klotz. I got you. Why not? This would be a crazy thing to do. When you're up by 30 points, NFL should make a rule, guys, because Xavier McKinney doesn't like teams to embarrass other teams. The NFL should implement a new rule to where if you're up by 30 points, you have to punt the ball on every first down. Like, so as soon as you just have to punt it back. Just here, have the rock back.
Give him a chance.
Yeah, like just take the ball back. You know what? You guys are just too good. We don't want. Hey, Xavier. We hand out participation trophies now in the NFL. Like, you go ahead. Hey, go ahead. We'll just get the ball right back to you up 30. You can just, it's fun playing football with you, buddy. It's so fun. Love playing football with you, Xavier. I mean, it sounds like, to be honest, he knows that he has to find different ways to get in the Detroit Lions players' heads and in the media to be able to make it relevant that, obviously it's a good game, but he's trying to find a different way and advantage to win this game. And he's trying to do it through the media and make comments like that.
Yeah, I mean, your point, Klotz, about him playing for the Giants, I think is very fair. It sounds like some insecurity. Like, it sounds like he's been through a lot of these type of blowouts. And he's
been there before.
Yeah, so he feels a little personal about it. Like, here's the thing. I'll tell you what's disrespectful or embarrassing isn't what the Lions are doing. It's it's how Ben Johnson is playing chess with these defensive coordinators while they're playing checkers. Like, that is embarrassing. Like, this dude is
Flores.
He is working DCs. So, like, that is embarrassing. I will say, Xavier McKinney, you had the verbiage right, just described it completely wrong. That's embarrassing. So you better hope your defensive coordinator, Jeff Iafrate, is buttoned up this week. And you better hope that you're on your P's and Q's. Because I'm telling you one thing, you saw what Dave Montgomery did to Devon Witherspoon. You better watch. You better keep your head on a swivel. Because he's going to be
asked to do so much. Because, like, in the red zone, do you put him on Sam Laporte? Do you put him on Amon-Ra St. Brown? And that's just not either way. It's like,
yeah, and you just throw away from him. Like, I think the Lions, I think Ben's going to do everything in his power to just keep the ball away from, like, Xavier McKinney's not going to have, like, too many out. He might have one opportunity all game. And if he doesn't get it, that's it. Like, I think because that's, like, they obviously know, like, the dude is, the dude, he's leading the league in interceptions. Like, clearly Ben Johnson's in the film room. Like, this is how we're going to do this. Like, we're going to keep the ball away from him, make him tackle, make him do shit. Like you said, Klotzy, he's not used to doing. Like, which tackling, but he's like, damn, I want to get picks. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no. You're going to come up here and make some plays in the run game. That's what you're going to do today.
You got to think, like, as much as, like, when Jared Goff turns the ball over, whether it's a fumble or interception, people get like, oh my gosh, like, Jared Goff another turn. Like, guys, the Lions are 5th in the NFL right now in turnovers, like, giving up. Like, they don't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
they're top 5 in taking care of the ball. So like, that's been an emphasis. I remember I think it was Goff. Like, who was he talking to? He did an interview. It might have been, I don't know. It might have been with Brad Galley. I can't remember, but he did an interview recently. And one of the things he talked about, I think it actually might have been with Bill Belichick. Is he just talked about just, like, execution and, like, taking care of the ball and being smart and, like, make it, like, emphasizing on those two things, like executing and not turning the ball over. And you could tell, like, you're 5th in the NFL, taking care of the rock right now through the season, through 8 games. Like, that's why you're 6-1, is because you've been very good with not turning the ball over. And, like, yeah, you have the best player in the NFL lined up across you with Xavier McKinney this week. I promise you, they're going to try and go away from him as many times as they can. Then they're going to make sure that he's not going to be in a position to get an interception. Like, especially like you said, Jeff, like, Ben watches so much film. Those guys watch so much film. Like, Ben's not the only elite man in that room. Like, they have Goff, who's a vet. They have Tanner Engstrand. Dan's in there, I'm sure, watching film. Like, they have a whole crew of people who are like, hey, we need to watch out for Xavier McKinney. And I almost want to guarantee it that Xavier McKinney does not get an interception this week.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, he's going to be – he's seen some – that Jags offense.
Whoa, Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, that's your Jags offense, Jeff.
That is fair.
Don't run. Hey, Tank Bigsby's having a year.
Watch
out for Tank.
RB1. But I will – but he's going to fit – this week it's going to be a little different, Xavier McKinney. You're not going to be back there just, hey, let's get some interceptions, guys. Like, I'm going to get it. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different. I think the way that turnovers come in this game, there could be obviously there could be a pick, but I think it'll be more punch outs, fumbles. Like it's going to be that type of game where running. It's like first running back to fumble. Like someone or something, or a pass catcher, someone.
Mhm.
I don't know if it'll be like unless Love just steps in there and is like, we're slaying it today in the rain. I don't think they'll be putting the ball.
There's going to be one or two throws where he tries to take a chance and shouldn't be.
Probably.
It's going to be up. It's like the opportunities are going to be there. I think for both, like you said, forced fumble, but interception, I think even for both sides, like the accuracy just isn't going to be the same. And Jordan Love, Christian Watson's 30 yards down the field. Jordan Love, he's the type of guy to say, fuck it, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, they're down there somewhere. And sometimes he completes it, but there's been multiple times where like he leaves the first half with 2 or 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
So that's very possible.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think at least for the defense guys, it's like a whole nother thing too. I mean, the offense, we're confident. I think we all kind of spoke on it, right? Like no too many concerns here. I think the only concern I have, I guess not concern, but like something to watch, maybe some. And this, I know exactly how you neutralize it. Is Rashawn Gary, but guess what? You make him make plays in the run game. That's how you neutralize it. That's how you neutralize the pass rush.
That play action.
It's like what Michigan did to Chop Robinson in Penn State. Like Chop, they couldn't block Chop Robinson. And guess what Jerome Moore did? They ran it like 30 times, and Chop was just like, I can't do this anymore. I just want to
run the quarterback anymore.
Yeah, like so that's how you kind of neutralize that. Is just you just keep pounding the football. But that's the only concern I could really think of, guys. I mean, I don't know. What about you? Where are you guys? Anything on offense facing the Packers defense?
I mean, I feel like we've all been on the same page all week with the rain. Like offensively, I think it just turns into, and I don't want to give away a legacy player or anything yet, but this is going to be a heavy run game. And we had that conversation earlier this week, Jeff. I think like you're going to see 15 to 20 carries out of D-Mont. You're going to see 15 to 20 touches out of Gibbs on the run and the pass. Like, I think it's a big game for those two guys, especially like D-Mont. Like he's had obviously the big games, but the last couple of weeks he's been a little quieter. I think this is one of those games, like you said, in Green Bay. He's played Green Bay a ton in his career. I think that's where it's like, all right, let's dominate them in the run game. Like make them, tire this defense out, control the possession, because they're going to probably try and do the same thing with you with Josh Jacobs and the run defense. Yours the way it's been the last 2 weeks. So, D-Mont, little tease ahead. There might be some plays for D-Mont this week from me.
I think if there's one concern, and I agree with you, but I think this is going to be, I mean, I say there's games where it's just where David Montgomery has to take over, and I think this will be one of them. But if there's one concern that I do have, and it's not like, oh, this player is like on watch, like trade deadline's coming up, trade him, but Taylor Decker, he's been struggling. Arden Key was working him last week, and even the game before then, he's just been struggling a little bit in pass protection. I think there's going to be multiple times where the Lions are going to have success running the ball, but you're going to be looking at 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. Oh, there's a false start or a holding, so now you're 3rd and 10 or longer. I think Taylor Decker, he has to show up a lot better than he has the last couple of weeks in just strictly pass protection, because he's been good in run blocking, but in pass protection, like you said, you got Rashawn Gary over there. Lucas Van Ness is getting snaps for him, whatever. But then Preston Smith is a very veteran defensive end. And the guest yesterday was talking about him. And it's just he can hit a couple moves on him. And that's the last thing. Like, I think if there's going to be turnovers in this game, Green Bay is going to try to exploit Taylor Decker, just because between him or Penei Sewell, which side are you attacking? It's going to be Taylor Decker. So I expect a lot of pressure on that side. That's the only real concern I have. But it's, again, just strictly in pass protection.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Taylor Decker thing. Just because of the last 2 games, how he's played. I just want it's something to watch. I'm
interested. Go ahead, Jeff. My bad.
No, that's it. Just something to pay attention to.
I'm interested just with that though. Just like offensively in the range, just how that's going to work out for a guy like Taylor Decker in the offensive line. Like and maybe it does, but I don't know if it doesn't. It's just a straight week where it struggles, and you hate that for anyone, because I don't think this is a thing where it's like, oh no, Taylor Decker's not good anymore. I think it's just it's a little bit of a slump. Like every player has their slumps. It's like in the NFL, it's tough for an offensive lineman, because like in the NBA, you can miss like 10 straight threes across a couple games, and people are like, hey, he's not shooting well. It's a slump. But in the NFL, a guy like Taylor Decker, left tackle, you miss 2 or 3 blocks in the span of a couple of weeks, and you give up 2 sacks in 2 weeks. You're especially at that position. You're like, what's going on? So I think it might just be like a slump for him, just struggling a little bit. I don't think it has to do with how good he is or not, or slowing down or anything. I just think it's one of those stretches of football, and every player has it. It's like if Gibbs goes for a couple of weeks, or like D-Mont a couple times went for a game of 30 or 40. You're like, whoa, what's going on? and you're like, he needs to bounce back, or Amon-Ra doing the same thing. So I don't know. And I'm not going to, honestly, if he struggles this weekend again, I'm not going to freak out about it. I'm just going to like give it a little bit of time. Now, if we start getting closer to the playoffs, then I'm going to be like, this could be a problem. We could have a problem.
Yeah, well, I think on defense, there's probably a select amount of players you could talk about to kind of have a big game on Sunday. I did my impact players. I had Kirby Joseph on there, and I had Alex Anzalone on there. Those are two guys, or excuse me, Brian Branch. I had Brian Branch on there and Kirby Joseph, or Anzalone. Jesus, those are two guys that I think. Those are two guys that I think on Sunday you're going to depend on. Anzalone for sideline to sideline ability, and Jack Campbell. You could throw him in there, but linebacker play is going to be very important. And I think Brian Branch for, obvious reasons, not just for taking the ball away, but guess who could punch the ball out? Hey, that's Brian Branch. Does a very good job at that, tackling. So there's some different guys you can go with. I guess I'll name someone different than who I had. A player that I do expect to step up this week, especially how I think the game's going to be played, and someone that I've been saying every week. Big Mac, where you at? I need you on Sunday, Ali McNeil. This is your game. I need him and DJ Reader, even include him in there. But really, though, the defensive tackle position, please make some plays. They're going to need you. They're going to need Ali McNeil because, again, Jordan Love already struggles with his mobility a little bit because he's injured. He's got that groin injury, so he's going to be a little tight there. So maybe you get pressure from the interior. You make him scramble a little bit. It'll be a little uncomfortable. So there's other reasons for that. Also, the run game, which he can absolutely cause some problems. I know they're going to try and run to the edges, but Ali McNeil, used to play baseball. He used to play running back. He's got a little athleticism to him. So we're going to need him to make some plays both in the pass and run game. Ali McNeil is kind of the guy outside of my impact players that I do expect to and want to step up on Sunday because he could easily be the difference in a lot of these plays the Packers try and run. So I'm going to go with Ali McNeil for that reason.
Me or you, Boone? Which one you want?
Yeah, you go ahead because it depends who you're going to take. What position are you taking?
It's in the secondary.
All right, go ahead. All you.
Perfect.
All you.
I know we're always talking about every week, Terrion Earl needs to get an interception. Terrion Earl needs to get an interception.
Ooh!
I don't think it's going to be this. I think another player who's going to get their first interception of the year, who kind of he created 2 forced fumbles, but he also gave up some big plays in the last 2-3 weeks when you go back to Minnesota through the air. And that's Amik Robertson. Amik Robertson, where is he going to be at? In the slot. Packers have a lot of wide receivers, but who is their best wide receiver? It's Jaden Reed. And where does he always align? Inside the slot, because you have Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson on the outside. Sure, there's going to be times when Jaden Reed's lined up on the outside, but most of the time, they're motioning Jaden Reed around the field, put him in the slot, and he can run all 3 route trees. And I expect the Lions, with it being rainy, bad conditions, they're going to try sending the house with Jordan Love banged up, and they got to stop the run. They're going to be playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. And right now, Jaden Reed has been balling so far this year. He was quiet all last week, but when the Packers needed to put a drive together to seal the game, what'd they do? 50-yard bomb to Jaden Reed, set him up in a position to be able to ice the game. So Amik Robertson, he's been good at creating turnovers, good against the run. He has to keep doing that this week. But he's going to be lined up against a wide receiver, probably top 10 in the league this year so far in Jaden Reed. And they like going after him in crucial situations. When they need to play, when they need to drive, get going, they do it with Jaden Reed, even if it's a bubble screen. Like if Jaden Reed catches a bubble screen, Amik Robertson, you got to go up, finish the tackle, because this team kills teams defensively with yards after the catch. So that's the key to the game right now, in my opinion, and stopping him through the air is Amik Robertson. Hold your own. You're not going to shut down Jaden Reed. Matt LaFleur is a great offensive mind. He's going to find a way to get him incorporated in the game, even if it's handing the ball off. But limit the big plays that he's been giving up to the passing game and keep creating the turnovers like he has been. Amik's been solid this year, but I think he's got to be very good this Sunday against Jaden Reed.
I don't hate it. Now, I've got a real one here for you guys. I know you guys had Aleem and Terrion and Carl. The secondary, I get it, fellas. What's the one thing defensively that we keep preaching about? This is a question for the
turnovers.
Class,
Turnovers. Hold on.
Not turnovers. What's the one improvement that the Lions need?
Oh, pass rusher, getting after quarterback on the edge. Yep.
Who's your number 1 edge rusher going into Sunday?
I don't really know, to be honest. Isaiah Thomas or Al Muhammad? Al Muhammad.
Levi Onwuzurike.
Oh,
Levi
okay.
Levi No Josh Pascal. Josh Pascal officially ruled out. That leaves Levi Onwuzurike. And I know, guys, like he could be a tackled. Like you could put him inside. For this football team, Levi O is he is a full-time pass rusher, edge rusher now. That's what he has to be until you get someone in this. You have no other choice. He is your best option. He is a big pass rusher. Streams only. Levi isn't an edge. Guess what? He's playing when you have DJ Reader and Ali McNeil in there. You have him at the edge, man. Sorry to tell you. He was playing edge all training camp. I remember, guys. I know Jeff, me and you went to a couple times. In Cleveland Klotz when you were there. Like Levi O was the starting edge across from Hutch while guys were hurt and guys weren't in. It was Hutch, Broderick Martin, Ali McNeil, because DJ Reader wasn't in, and it was Levi O. So listen, like I know he's not a pure edge, and that's not his position, but what you need to get after Jordan Love on Sunday. You didn't trade for anyone, first of all. Second of all, Josh Pascal's out. Mekhi Wingo, a guy that could play inside out, he's as well doubtful, which he's probably not playing. Now you need guys to step up. I know it's going to be raining, but guess what? You're in the NFL. Doesn't mean just because it's raining, you're not going to pass the ball at all. They will be passing the rock 20-something times still on Sunday. So you have to go in there and you need dominance from Levi Onwuzurike on Sunday. Isaac Ukwu, Trevor Nowatzki at the Sam position. Like Isaiah Thomas, Al Muhammad, guys are going to have to step up. And I think, honestly, like the vet of that crew right now is Levi O. And he's going to have to step up and make some plays. So that's going to be an impactful guy. I think, guys, like if Levi O is in a sports book for a sack, take him because I think he gets one on Jordan Love on Sunday.
The Levi, honestly, Boone, that's a little different. I like the Levi. I like the Levi. They're going to need Levi. They're going to need Levi moving forward in different scenarios. They played Isaiah and El Muhammad, but El Muhammad actually had a good debut too. So I'm curious what he kind of builds on last week.
Maybe that's the James Houston of this year, fellas. Just got to get home. What do you have? 6 pressures, I believe. Yeah, 6 pressers. I mean, he was making some plays. He was there. He was in the premises of the quarterback. Yeah. So, and he was with the Saints with AG his rookie year. So they're familiar. They're familiar with Muhammad. But yeah, Levi, he's the next guy up. He's gonna have to make some plays. All right, we're gonna have Dusty join us in a couple of minutes. So those who are tuning in right now, we're having a Packers beat writer, Dusty Evely, on the show at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk to him about the game, so can't wait for that. But I guess the defensive players, I'll say this about the other guys I kind of mentioned. Jack Campbell, I think as much as it's important, they're going to run on the edge and run towards whoever, Al Muhammad. It's not just those guys. Obviously, there's much more to that. The secondary's got to be in lockstep this week. And also, the linebacker play, I think, is going to be super important. I'm looking at those linebackers this week. No Malcolm Rodriguez, so Trevor Nowatzki. Maybe Trevor. Hey, why not Trevor get a sack? Why not Trevor get a sack this week? He's been on a pretty good pace of like getting a sack or a pick. I mean, he's making some plays.
Hey, that's in Lambeau Field.
Hey, yep. Where'd Matt LaFleur go to college, Boone?
Saginaw Valley State University.
Where'd Trevor Nowatzki go to college?
Saginaw Valley State University. Hold on, you got one more to ask.
Am I forgetting about a Cardinal?
Where did Booner go to college? Saginaw Valley State University. Let's go. All the greats have a degree from Saginaw Valley State.
All the Cards. Yeah, Trevor Nowatzki, great Detroit legend.
It's a great school. If you've never been, check it out.
Super Bowl trophies, just like Trevor Nowatzki making, or the statue they built, like Trevor Nowatzki making an open field tackle on the kickoff return team.
Retire his number. Booner's there.
What are we talking about on the kick return team? That man had
one of the better special team players they have, Boone.
I mean, he just got a big time interception off of Mason Rudolph.
I understand, but
both things can be true. Both things can be true.
I mean, the man
fumble there, Boone.
He's been a dog.
That's why he's versatile. He's one of their best linebackers. He's playing special teams a dog. I mean, he's got a spot. That's why Lions love him. He can play you play anywhere. You ask him whatever you ask him to do. And honestly, Weezy D says it don't matter if Pascal, Wingo, Mac, Nowoski get a sack. You guys will just say it's fake and won't work against elite offensive minds of good QBs. Weezy D. Well, here's the thing.
So let's confirm: Weezy D does not want an edge rush. If Max Crosby was get traded to the Detroit Lions, Weezy D would be like, nope, send him back to Vegas. We don't want.
Well, let's obviously, but like Zadarius Smith, we'll go with that.
He does.
Like,
Weezy D doesn't want Zadarius Smith. He doesn't want
to,
anyone. Weezy D is out on any edge rusher.
Are we open to depth? Weezy D. Are we just can we just meet in the middle? We need some depth. It's not. I'm not. I think Wingo. By the way, Wingo's got some juice. I like Wingo. He's been he's
for a sixth-round rookie.
Yes. Now, Pascal, Mac, Nowoski. Now, I'll tell you this, Weezy D. If Aleem McNeil gets a sack, I'll be ecstatic because that's a guy that you do want to step up. Nowoski, I mean, of course, happy. Wingo, happy. Pascal, happy. But the thing is, when you have good players, or I guess Zadarius at this point, would you call him a good player right now, guys? I think he's a fine player.
Yeah, he's
Zadarius Smith.
But when you have those type of guys, Zadarius Smith, he's someone that every week you can just depend on to make plays. Like Weezy D, would you depend on Mekhi Wingo every week? Or Josh Pascal every week? I would, and I don't know about Weezy D. I don't want to speak for him, but I would rather go into a big game with at least a guy like Zadarius, who I can be like, I don't have to worry about that guy. Like his production, he's going to get a couple pressures this game. That's all it is. So I get it, but no, it's not true. We would be ecstatic, especially if Mekhi Wingo gets a sack. I'll be like, whoa, like where did this come?
I could be wrong, boys, but I'm pretty sure Mekhi Wingo's been hurt too.
Oh yeah, he has. And Pascal obviously is out. I know that's a fact. Which that's a whole nother thing. But Dan said it won't be long term. So, yeah. And to Stream's only point, and I don't want to speak for anyone else. We don't think they're an edge away. Just because they're already a great football team. But what it is, it helps. You're looking for help. And Zadarius Smith is help. That's all it is. Do you think, for example, do the Ravens believe they're Deontay Johnson away from a Super Bowl? No. But they think we need some help. Let's get some more pass catchers. That's all it is, guys. I think people try and exaggerate it. Like, oh, you think Zadarius Smith's the key to the Super Bowl? No. I just would like the guy to start in a game. You know what I mean? Okay. I think that's all it is.
This is the thing that bothers me a little bit. This is just like the people, and maybe you guys had the same. This is the argument that we had with you, Klotz. I had with you earlier this week. It's like people being like, you can't win a Super Bowl without making a move. It's like, no, you can two things can be true. You can have the best team in football and still want to make improvements to get more depth and to give yourself a better chance of winning that much. Like, you're not guys, this team doesn't have a 100% chance of winning. The Kansas City Chiefs don't have a 100% chance of winning the Super Bowl. Like, that's a fact. But what you want to do is put yourself in a position to get as close to 100% as you can. That's why the Kansas City Chiefs just traded for another pass rusher. That's why the Ravens just traded for another weapon. That's why every year you see the 49ers make a move. You see the Chiefs make a move. Like, that's how this league works. That's how it all kind of goes down, is you always want to get yourself in the best possible position to win a Super Bowl as possible. And so that's what, for me, the people who are like, so you want to trade, so you don't think this team currently can win a Super Bowl? Guys, there are 5 or 6 teams in the NFL right now currently who can win a Super Bowl. That doesn't mean those teams don't. Those teams are that's what being a buyer at the deadline is you have an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl, bolster up your football team and get better and get more depth in case an injury comes around, or in case if you have a weakness somewhere, build that up. This isn't that's why I think there's two sides of this, where there are people on two extreme sides being like, oh, you guys are trying to say the Lions need depth, but they can't win with what they have now. Like, no, they can. And then there's the other side where it's like, we need something or we can't win. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, both things can be true. You can win with what you have now, and you need to go out and get something too, and bolster this team up a little bit more. I hope I explained that right. I could be going crazy.
No, you did, but I thought it was pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm just really, to be honest, I'm really tired here with the Lions fan base a little bit of having those two extreme sides and these arguments and people gaslighting other people like they can't win now, or if they don't make a move, they won't win. Like, no, they still have they're literally right now in some sports books, the Lions are second in the NFL in odds to win the Super Bowl. And the other ones, they're third. Like this team can win now. It's adding pieces and your weaknesses on the team. It's the same thing with every team. Single.
I don't know why everyone was like, it's a big like debate over just adding help. Like I don't
it's
know
nuts.
why. Like no team is one player away. Like that's like it's not unless you're Tom Brady. Then maybe you can argue that, but no team is just one player away, guys. Like that's not the point. That's not the point. We want depth and quality depth. Like the Ravens didn't lose anyone. Did they lose anyone in the wide receiver core to injury? And they still traded for Deontay Johnson?
No.
So like that point proven. And the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson. And they so of course we would feel they should add someone. Let's bring in their special guest here. And he's joined the show previously. And shout out to Dusty, by the way, because the last time he joined the show, he shared his opinions about some of the things Brad Holmes did in the draft. People, that's what I love about Dusty. He's not afraid to speak his opinion. All right, he's not afraid to speak his opinion. You guys can check him out on Twitter. Obviously, the Lions are going to be facing the Packers for the near future here. So for all stuff at Dusty Evely, does football film stuff for various outlets. He's very, very smart. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Dusty Evely. Dusty, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me back. Good to see you guys. What's going on?
Let's go, Dusty.
Okay. And this is great, Dusty, because last time you were on, you were stirring the pot. I absolutely love that. I love that. It's great. I want to ask you, this matchup coming up, the weather. It's supposed to be raining. It's supposed to be crap. It's like 100% guarantee of rain, obviously at Lambeau Field. What's like your early feel for kind of how this game's going to look? And what team do you think has the advantage in that type of environment, even though I get the Packers are at home?
Yeah, it's going to be sloppy. I mean, it's, anytime you get rain, it's going to be sloppy. Maybe my first thought is you got Jared Goff in the rain. That's cool. I'm fine with that. I mean, but the thing is, both teams are good at running the ball and want to run the ball. I was going to look up DVOA before I came up, and I forgot. I think both teams are top 10 DVOA, if I'm not mistaken, in rushing. And Lions want to do that, and Lions can do that. I mean, they've got Gibbs. Gibbs is a good home run header. David Montgomery refuses to be tackled, and they've got a great offensive line. So I think the Packers offensive line is down a tick from there. I do think they're better running the ball than in pass protection now, just with the movers they have up front. And yeah, I mean, I think the running attack's been good. Josh Jacobs been good. Wilson's been a solid number 2 there. I don't think Lloyd's coming up this game, but I mean, both teams, and I think especially this game with Love, it's kind of looking like he's trending to start. And even if he doesn't, you got Malik Willis. So if he does start, you got the groin thing, and then see the groin thing, not in a perverted way, just he has tweaked his groin. It's hard to talk about that, and then if he does, he'll be probably not 100%, so they'll want to run, and if he doesn't, it'll be Malik Willis, and they like to run with Willis. So I think it'll be relatively sloppy, probably pretty run heavy game. All that being said, it probably opens with a couple bombs. Like just me feeling this way, they're just going to go bombs away, and it's going to be like 40-point game. But I think it's going to be just sloppy in the muck run game centered, I would imagine.
Yeah, Dusty, how tough too? Because I know the injury report came out today. Evan Williams out, Jair Alexander questionable. 2 pretty big pieces in that secondary. Like, how do you think the Packers and you guys kind of will adjust to that, especially with the way the Lions offense has been playing the last few weeks at probably the highest level they have since Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson have taken over? What are your thoughts on that secondary and how they kind of can turn this thing around to slow them down?
Well, Dusty, did you see Xavier McKinney's he feels like,
and Xavier McKinney,
no, I didn't actually.
Okay, so Xavier McKinney talked to some of the media, and he said like he feels like the Lions kind of embarrass opponents, and what do you say, Booner? Like a little disrespectful. What they're doing
he said I could pull it. I can read it word for word. Yeah, he said I'm not a big fan of that. Trying to embarrass someone, I don't really respect that.
That's fine. He's free to believe what he wants. I don't. That's fine. I mean, I've always been of the mind. I don't like when my team is blown out, but if you want to stop the other team from, say, throwing bubble screens to their tackle, then you should stop them from doing so. Like that's on you to stop them. If you run up the score, that's fine. Run up the score, dude. Like you're all professionals. I think McKinney does take, I think, some things personal. I think some of that's a bit of talk, hype up his guys. I mean, you mentioned the secondary is going to be kind of down a little bit. Jair, yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, because he hurt his knee end of the last play of the Jacksonville game. It was kind of is he done for the season? So the fact that he's questionable is good. If he's gone, I would imagine they go to Carrington Valentine, which was a 7th round guy last year that played really well. And the big question this year has been like, why hasn't he been on the field? We've barely seen him. It's been more Eric Stokes, and they bumped Nixon out to the outside instead of Valentine. So if Jair can't go, it's probably Valentine, who I mean, is like Jair in a lot of ways, I think, just in the amount he talks, certainly. But just his skill set, I think, is good. And so, I mean, he's not as good as Jair, and we've only seen one season from him, but I think they'll be okay there. I mean, Williams, the defense took a big dive last week because Evan Williams left in the middle of the week last week. And I'm curious to see kind of how they deal with that this week. Because what they did last week is they took Javon Bullard, with their second round rookies from this past year, bumped him back to safety. He'd been playing a lot of nickel stuff for him, and he just did not look comfortable in space. They had him down in the box, which he played a little anyway. But when they have him playing from high, his angles are all off, dude. He played safety in college, so it's a little shocking. But he missed a couple tackles. We got turned around pretty bad on a couple deep routes. So I'm curious if they go that route or if they maybe kind of mix up. Because so far, I mean, they've kind of settled into, as before the year, is what are they going to do at safety? It was McKinney, and then there's a whole bunch of like, maybe this guy, maybe this guy. Evan Williams has kind of turned into kind of a do-it-all dude. He play a lot of high. They play him in the box a lot, and he's very good there. And I don't think they have another guy right now that's that established there. I've been curious about Kitano Ladapo, who's another rookie that hasn't seen the field too much. He kind of looks like Williams. Williams has been so smart, like just a tremendous player for them. So I think they could probably hold on with Valentine. I'm not the biggest believer in the Lions receiving group, if I'm being honest here. I mean, I think they are good and that offense is obviously well structured, but I don't look at them and say, why all these receivers can beat us. I think from cornerback perspective, if Jair can't go, I think they'll be fine-ish, but I think the loss of Williams in this game specifically, I think hurts them a little more, especially if Bullard plays like what we saw in the second half last week.
Yeah, Dustin, we appreciate you coming back on. You're just talking about the Lions receiving corner. Right before you joined, I was kind of talking about Jaden Reed. And it seems like over the last couple of games, Romeo Doubs has been the guy for Jordan Love. He's been on a tear, and you see times where Christian Watson's the guy. And to start the season off, Jaden Reed was one of the best wide receivers in football. Given the condition, given Jordan Love being banged up, if there's going to be a Packers wide receiver you think is the guy this week in the receiving game, who do you think that would be given this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to say Reed just because Reed is kind of a bit of the do-it-all guy. They'll have him in the backfield quite a bit. They do the split shotgun stuff with it's a lot of stuff they used to do with two running backs, and now they'll do like split Josh Jacobs on one side, Reed on the other, and a lot of orbit motion. They'll throw him some screens out of that. They'll run him up the wheel out of that. And so I think they look for ways to get Reed the ball. And if it is a little sloppier, I think this stays a little closer to the line of scrimmage. And I think that favors Reed. I mean, he can get vertical, but they use him more in the horizontal game. Like if you're looking for a guy that like can get open that way, I think Reed's the dude. I mean, Doubs, it's funny because Doubs had the whole thing where he just didn't show up to practice and was suspended for a game. And then he's been nails ever since. Like, and he's always been kind of that go-to guy on third down. He's got a big catch radius, not blazing speed. Typically good hands, like good catch radius, but he'll drop a handful of balls. So I have good games and bad games. He's been really good. So I do feel like he will get his chances, but just the nature of the game, I think they're going to look to get Reed touches near the line of scrimmage, create those angles and try to create some explosives, maybe a little closer to the line of scrimmage than they had in the past. If the conditions are as bad as they kind of look.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Love, it just kind of staying on his play. He's been, I mean, the guy's fearless. I will say that he turns the ball over, but still, I mean, he's like top 5 in passing touchdowns right now, top 4. But he has 9 interceptions going up against this back end for the Lions. Not that it's going to be that type of game given the weather, but they're going to have to throw on some of these 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 10s, whatever it is. What's your kind of opinion on the matchup there, Jordan Love and the interceptions versus two safeties who are top 5 in interceptions, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph? Kind of your thoughts on that matchup, especially with the guys that can kind of help push the ball a little downfield here.
Yeah, those dudes are good, dude. I mean, I'm really excited about. I was excited about the safety matchup between both of these teams. And with Williams out, we kind of lose some of that. But man, I mean, Joseph's been good. Branch is like telepathic this season, dude. Like Branch is just playing on a different level. So I mean, I will say if Love is not 100%, I am concerned about at least one interception going that way. Joseph always seems to get the Packers at some point anyway, so that's always going to be there. But if Love can't move, like the beginning of the Jacksonville game this past week, he could move, and then he tweaked it as he was kind of running. He kind of came down weird, tweaked it as the game went on. It was steadily like it got right afterwards. It was like, oh, he's clearly limited. He's limping a little, but he could move. By the third quarter, like he couldn't move. So it depends on how mobile he truly can be. If he's more like he was late first quarter, early second quarter, where like he's clearly hampered, but he can move, I think they'll be fine. He's good at creating those wide receivers now. And I mean, Tucker Kraft, honestly, down the field have done such a good job adjusting to balls and adjusting routes. I think they will be fine. But if he is immobile to the point that he was kind of closer to the end of the first half and when they took him out of the third quarter, I think that's a problem, because then if it's not there, and I mean, I will say the interceptions are there. Absolutely. He is still seeing the field. He's still reading the field extremely well. He just takes chances. And I think he will be more willing to take chances if he can't move. I got to get this out before the rush gets home because I can't break contain. So I'd say if he can't move, it concerns me more. If he can move a bit, I still think he's going to give him at least one chance, but I think it becomes a bigger issue if he's if that groin injury is still lingering to the point where he can't move very well.
Hey, Dusty, one thing I brought up on our show, just kind of with the matchups and looking at some advantages for different teams, the one thing that stood out to me a little bit, an advantage towards the Lions, is the red zone, both sides, offensive and defensively. The Packers are 20th defensive red zone team, and then offensively they're 25th. Has that been something with the Packers this season? I haven't watched every game. I've seen a couple Packers games now. What are your thoughts on that? Is there a reason for that and something that I'm missing, or what do you think? Is that going to be a problem on Sunday for Green Bay?
Red zone stuff's so weird because it is. I mean, it's not really sticky year to year or even like in season a lot of times. So I think last year the Packers set the all-time record for touchdown percentage in like goal to go situations. It was like 95% of the time if they were in whatever in goal, they're scoring a touchdown. Like it just an insane record. And that hasn't been quite there this year. And I mean, if you look at what they're running, how they're running it, like it's really not that different. Like I still think I really like LaFleur and what he puts together in that red zone package. They've got some drops, they've got some weird inconsistencies, if there's some weird decision making. So it's one of those things where like if you look at it in terms of how they operate, I don't think it's a big deal. It's very inconsistent week to week in terms of if they get it or not, but the process is good. So it's one of those things where like, I believe it will turn around because I do think what they're running is good, sound stuff. And it's a very kind of measured approach, and they're looking to kind of hit these guys where they're not. Like I think their approach to red zone is very good. So at some point I assume that will come around. It's hard to predict week to week. So I'll say, I think they'll probably be fine just because at any given week, I'm like, they'll probably be fine as long as they are. I think their biggest issue, and this is the big thing I think that comes in here more than anywhere else, they've had a ton of penalties from the offensive line. Rasheed Walker has been a nightmare up front for them. Like he's been fine blocking. There's been a lot of penalties. So a lot of times, like you see him like first and goal from the 15, like, okay, well, they're not going to score a touchdown here. Like you kind of know they're not going to do that. So they need to keep the penalties down on offense. On defense, I honestly haven't studied too much what they've done in terms of how they're operating down there. I mean, they've got the pieces. It's one of those things, again, feels like they'll turn around. Their Achilles heel down there right now is just they can't really rush the passer. Like they've been generating a pass rush off a lot of kind of that Flores look, right? Like it's a whole lot of sim pressure stuff. It's 7 guys at the line and dropping guys out. It's harder to do that in the red zone because it's such a more confined space, and you can take advantage of that stuff in different ways, and they can't really get pressure with 4. And so against the guy who's a little more immobile like Goff, that probably bites them a little less, but it still forces their guys, especially in the pass game, to cover a little more just because that they have a really hard time getting home with 4. They thought they were going to be able to do that this year, and they just can't. Gary's not been the same all year. Van Ness hasn't really turned into much yet. So if they can generate pressure, they'll be all right. But I think it's tough for that line right now. They've given up a handful of pretty easy rushes as well. And at that point, I think some of those guys are gassed. With Devontae Wyatt's back this week, and I think he will be. I think that becomes a tougher task for an offense to score because he is very good in the middle there. But I think the red zone stuff on defense could hound them until they figure out that pass rush.
And something kind of go with that pass rush, and he's definitely Edgerrin Cooper. Me and Booner both loved him coming out of the draft. We've been talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars game, and without a doubt, that was kind of his coming out party. I think he had a phenomenal game. I think he was your guys' defensive player of the week. And I think when you look at him, he's got 3 sacks on the season already, one of the highest graded pass rushing linebackers. Do you think that that's going to be a guy that's going to kind of get more snaps than he has so far, and they're going to really use him to get after Goff, given his athletic ability?
Yeah, absolutely. And they've centered a lot of the pass rush stuff around him. Honestly, he didn't come out. I think his first game is like 18% of snaps, and he got drafted. I think he tweaked his hamstring either in the first practice or first something. He was barely in training camp. He didn't play any preseason. And so he didn't have a whole lot of time. So I think they were kind of easing him in. And so I think he went from like 18 to 20 to 35%. And I think he played 65% this past week. So I think they've been easing him in. I'm curious what they do. I think Quay Walker is going to be back this week because he missed the second half of the Texans game and all of the Jacksonville game with the concussion. I think he's out of protocol now. But I mean, they've centered a lot of what they want to do with the pass rush with that kind of mugging the A-gap stuff with Cooper, because he is so, man, like he's so fast. He plays like a maniac, but he's also so smart. Like that's what's gotten me about him. I watching him at A&M, like I knew, okay, this seems like a guy who's smart, but linebacker's a tough position to come in and play. He seems like he knows what the offense is going to do before they do it. And so he's been doing a whole lot of that mugging the A-gap, some of it falling back, some of it he did the one I'm sure you saw this past week, who was mugging the A-gap and then carried like cover 2 up the pipe and broke up a pass with just like that. You're a linebacker. How are you able to do that? But they're also sending him on blitzes up the middle. Lots of middle stunt and twist from this defense. So like Kenny Clark is a smasher, and then Cooper looping around. Like they're looking for ways to get him as a free rusher, and I think they've done a good job with it. So I think absolutely you're going to get Cooper in the backfield a few times off designed rush looks specifically designed to spring him. That's absolutely going to be in the cards for this week. And they've played, Jacksonville line's not great. The Texans line looked like they had never seen a stunt before in their life. Like the Lions line is better than that. So I think they picked that up a little better, but Hafley's been really creative with the way he kind of deploys that stuff. So there will be at least 2 or 3 times you'll see Cooper coming free up the middle, I think.
Dusty, before we let you go here, score prediction for the Sunday. What are you thinking?
Oh man, I had all one in mind and then I forgot it was raining. So it's raining. I'm going to go, let me be honest with you guys. I don't feel great about it. I'll go Lions 27-24. I do think listen, at this point, if Willis starts, I think they win this. I think if they go with Love and he's 75% right now, I don't think this offense right now, it's so inconsistent. They've got and now I think it doesn't look like Myers is going to play, which means maybe Jacob Monk at center. Like they've been a little inconsistent. You've got the bye looming. You've got guys are dinged up, and if Love's not close to 100%, I think it's going to be hard for them to score points. And the Lions are rolling right now. So that's the way I'll go. I'm prepared to be wrong about this and then be happy about being wrong. But that's currently where I'm sitting, I think.
The good old reverse jinx, Dusty.
Works every time.
Yeah, we had Peter Bukowski on yesterday. He picked the Lions to win. It's something it's not genuine, Dusty. I don't know. You get
listen, I've been running. This is like my 3rd Lions podcast I've done this week. No one's asked me for a score prediction. I've had a Lions score queued up this whole time, and you guys are the only ones. This is my only chance to do it. But I've been thinking I've overthought this game. But again, I think if Willis is in, I legitimately think they win. I think they do run game and they win. But right now, I swear it's not a reverse jinx. I promise you guys.
I think that's a very unpopular opinion, but I agree with you, Dusty. Just because with Malik Willis, you've seen him win, and they probably have the formula. With Jordan Love hurt, there's not as much of a formula and game plan to stick to compared to a healthy quarterback that can run the ball.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, that run game's really creative with Willis. I was like, I want Love to be healthy. Give him 2 weeks. Let's see what Willis can do, and if they lose, they lose. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, Dusty, appreciate you. You guys can check out Dusty. Obviously, we're going to play the Packers again once it'll be back at Ford Field, but follow him for all your updates. Dusty, we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you joining, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on again.
Appreciate it, Dusty.
Mr. Dusty Evely joining the program there. And it is weird. You got Dusty picking the Lions. I don't know how I feel about this.
I think the last time someone picked the Lions, I think it was Stephen Che for the Bucks, and they won. That makes that. Is true. I think.
You're right.
As I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well. The Titans.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts.
That's different. That's different.
He was like,
game.
He covers the Titans, and he was like ripping them like they're the worst team of all time. Blah blah blah. Like I don't know if that one counts, but
that's fair. Yeah, it's the vibe we're kind of getting here. Lions win. It's just I like it, but like pick the Packers, dude. Like not Dusty. Just I get what Dusty's doing, but just for my own mental health, you know what I mean? Just to be like, okay, yeah, they're picking against us. It's like no, They're picking the Lions. And everyone on NFL Network picked the Lions, Shift God. But this is good. It's the pressure you want. Adam Rank even picked us.
He's picked us the last couple of weeks, actually, I think.
I think he just hates the
Too
Packers
late.
more than the
Yeah,
Lions.
so
That's got to be the reason.
That could be it, actually. That's actually. But Bears fans hate the Packers. Hate the Packers.
You guys got any bold takes for this weekend on Sunday? Anything you think you just been thinking about? Maybe something that's been brewing, because I got one, and I was waiting. And this one, it hasn't happened this year, but it's a feeling. It's like the universe drops it down, and I just go, got it. I'll say it tonight. You know what that is? The man with luscious hair, beautiful hair, very nice hair. Beautiful hair. Sideline to sideline guy, the Italian.
Ooh.
Against the Packers.
Ooh.
He gets his first interception of the season.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anzalone gets his first interception in coverage on the season. You know what it's going to be? Jordan Love drops back. He's looking for Tucker Kraft. Where is he? Anzalone picked by Anzo. He's running. He gets tackled because it's wet. I don't know if he'll be able to go for, pick six, but he's going to get up. He's going to see the hair flowing in the wind. He's going to be getting hype, and everyone's going to be jumping around with him. It's going to be Anzalone getting a pick on Sunday. Clip this. It's happening. Give me Anzo.
I'm going to one-up you that. All right. Lions get 2 or 3 turnovers. That's not the bold take. How about this? The Detroit Lions defense, and I'm going to pull this up on my phone because I want to get something exact here. I don't know if the Detroit Lions defense has scored a touchdown this season, but with the rain, we're going to see some fumbles and we're going to see some interceptions. Book it right now. The Detroit Lions defense to score a touchdown on Sunday versus the Green Bay Packers. Book it. And I could go look at the price real quick. Let me see. This doesn't count towards my interception bets too, boys. I just want that known. This does not count towards my interception bets. I want that on the record. Detroit Lions defense, anytime. Plus 700. Go take it now. That is my bold take. I just think eventually it's going to happen. Whether it's like a Jordan Love in the rain, like a strip sack, or Jeff, we can get both of ours. Alex Anzalone pick 6 maybe. Terrion Arnold pick 6 off a quick like a screen route. Terrion Arnold steps in front and takes one to the house. How about that?
Oh, that would be electric.
Give me a Detroit Lions defensive touchdown.
Hey, you guys are both going defensive. It's cute. But like Dusty just said, the Green Bay Packers, they got injuries at that cornerback spot. You know who we were all high on last week? They kind of had a down game.
Who was it?
So you got to be mad at him. Timmy P, baby. TP17. Not only is he going to have a good game, but he records his first touchdown of the season for the Detroit Lions. I can see it now. Jared Goff looking for Amon-Ra, looking for Laporte. He's not there. But you know who is? 6'4", 230-pound Tim Patrick. Throw him a jump ball. TP17 records his first touchdown of the season. Called it last week with Brock Wright. It's happening this week with Tim Patrick.
Yeah, well, we've been calling it. You did call it the Brock Wright, TD. That was a ballsy play.
The small garage.
Yeah.
And the rain, consistent hands.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
On the year.
Throw it to the man with the catch radius of a small garage, as Klotz would say. That is a bar.
That's a small garage. One of those little smart cars that are like the size of a doorway.
Tim Patrick's rolling it.
Yeah, Tim Patrick, anytime TV. I like it. Hey, by the way, people on Sunday, where are you going to be? And where are you at in the state of Michigan? Because I have the place that you should be at if you are relatively close.
Why did that feel like a rhyme? Like you were just
Hey,
it was like a little Dr. Seuss type rhyme you had rolling there for us.
Where are you going to be? Well, I know where you should be. And that is the Garage Bar and Grill in Grand Rapids. We'll be down there on Sunday. Boys are making a road trip 2, almost 3 hours away to Grand Rapids to do a live show at the Garage Bar and Grill. If you're near Grand Rapids, come hang out. It's going to be a blast. We're going to be there out with Real American Beer, Pat from Real American Beer. watching the Lions game, eating some delicious food, having some real American beer, and hanging out. Booner Path is on the road. Lions are on the road, and so are the boys. And we'll be out there. So just
we can. I want it known too. The Booner Path, you guys see it there?
Mm-hmm.
It runs through Grand Rapids now. The Booner Path runs through Grand Rapids. I cannot wait. Do we have any people in the chat? Like, we have 220 people watching. Are there people who live on the west side of the state? Vincent, there we go. Vincent, come stop by and watch the game with us. We're going to be live, but we'll be rotating and stuff, so we'll be able to hang out and have a drink or two with some people. But we will be live the whole time as well, pregame, watch stream, and our postgame. We'll do everything there. Which pumped up in Real American Beer. They're going to have their RV, the massive truck. The fellas are some Real American Beer guys are going to be out there. So if you're in the west side of the state, George is there. Everyone, come watch the game at the Garage Bar. We expect everyone to show up. If you're watching the show now and you're in the west side of the state, we expect everyone to show up. We have not gone out there yet, even at our old place that we worked at Randall. Come stop by our old place. We never even had. We never had anything on the west side of the state. So this is our first time that we're doing something somewhere else in the state, which I'm pumped up. I hope we get a big turnout. I hope there's a lot of people who come through.
Whatever
I'm excited.
Plans you have Sunday, cancel them. I don't care if you got a wedding, you got church, cancel it. Reschedule. You got a place to be. The Garage in Grand Rapids, be there.
Yeah.
Michael Daly said, I can't get drunk if I go there. Hey, come watch the game with the fellas, man.
You know what? Yeah, get drunk. Don't drive, but we'll figure it out. All right.
We'll Uber you back.
Yeah. We'll get you home somehow, Michael. We'll get you home somehow. But all right.
I'm pumped up, though. I can't wait. And I will say this, too. When the Lions do win the football game, you may be able to watch a live Kool-Aid chug outside of the Garage Beer, because there will be a Kool-Aid chug still. So that's like a perk too. You get to see a Kool-Aid chug live in person. I don't think a lot of people have ever seen that. When I used to do them in Birmingham,
first live performance.
Yeah, when I used to do in Birmingham, I mean, I know you guys filmed a couple. There would just be people who knew like what was going on and would like stop or like honk and be like, the Kool-Aid. Like it was cool. Yeah. So it's funny that people drive by and see it, but you'll be able to live in person.
He's like a zoo animal. It's like everyone.
Honestly,
go see Boone.
Dude, I remember
he's doing it.
I remember one thing when I first started the Kool-Aid chugs last year. The first time I was like, "Oh, this might be something." The people like this. I was walking in Birmingham before the game, before our pregame show and everything. I was just by myself. I think I was like walking to the Kroger over there or something, and just some random guy in some truck drives by, rolls his window down. I probably had like a sweatshirt on and a hood on or something, and just outside his window, just, "You're drinking the Kool-Aid tonight." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Dude, it's like 11 a.m. The game, we're not even close to game time now." And I'm like, "All right, here we go, boys." It was hilarious.
Kool-Aid tonight. He knew it was you. What if it wasn't you? You're like, "What the fuck is this?
What is this guy talking about?"
Yeah,
I would imagine you're gonna drink the Kool-Aid tonight. And he's just not there. What the fuck does that mean, bro? I'm locking my doors. I'm making sure I got the gun loaded under the mattress. Everything.
It's like that meme of the dog where he's like,
oh no,
he just shook as hell.
What did he say?
No. Like,
Hey,
what?
By the way, you want to see them NFL pick'em records, huh?
I'm excited. Yeah.
I don't know if you should be, Klotzy.
Hey, I'm just interested.
Goes crazy.
As long as I'm not last.
Because they have the kid number one.
Hey, I keep climbing. We're back to 500. I had a terrible start to the year. Back to 500, 0-0 game.
You are back to 500.
I mean, to be fair, you really weren't. You were 3-4 last week, Klotzy. I'll give last week's record out just because I want the people to know. Booner. Actually, no. Let's start from the bottom. Caleb, not available. Did not pick last week.
Yeah, he stays put.
Michael Gentry, BMG, 2-5 last week after his big start. 2-5. In third place, Lukas Klotz, 3-4. In second place, Jeff Iafrate, 3-4.
Hey, so me and Jeff are tied for second.
I know. As I was saying that, just the way I had it typed.
What are we doing here?
It was the way I had it typed out on my phone. And in first place,
yeah.
Hey, let me get my glory for a second, Jeff. In first place, Booner 5-2.
He needed a big comeback for you, Boone.
That was huge, dude. I needed a big week.
Yeah, I've been having some good weeks. I haven't had a bad week, and I had a bad week at a wrong time. But Mike had a bad week the same week I had a bad week, so it worked
5,
out.
yeah.
So it put me in first place for now. I gotta have a money week this week. I gotta have a 5-2. Hell, I mean, we have 6 games, so I gotta go 6-0 preferably, but 5-1.
Mike was 10-3 and had a bad week, goes down to 12-8 or something like that. Like, that's tough.
He had a rough outing.
I feel like we should have the guys text us their picks so we can get picks in.
Okay.
Just because you know what I mean. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But
you know what, Boone, you're right.
I think we should like text picks, just because it's like if us 3 are picking and no one else is, like, we could just lose every game and like
Mike gets first.
Mike wins just because it's like he's sitting at 12-8 and we're like just absolutely crawling for trying to win a game here.
Yeah, Michael says, I love how you made Caleb's red. Yeah, I'm doing the positive, the neutral, and the negative colors here, making it known. Klotzy's the 500, so he's yellow. Green's positive, and obviously
I don't know what the math is. I feel like I should be in second. 16 and 11.
I just did the math, Boone. Gentry's like win percentage is 1.5. Yours is 1.45.
I mean, yeah, dude, 16 and 11. I have 16 wins.
Yeah,
12.
it does. It looks like you should be in. Like, I thought the same thing. I was like, how the hell is Booner in third?
Yeah, that's why we have to start getting picks. If you're not on the show, we need your picks, because I'm over here grinding with 16 wins, and I'm sitting in like third place, bronze medal.
Yeah, the crowd. Hey, it's tough. I'm playing with a lead. Now I gotta be mistake free. Now I gotta start.
And here comes Brady in the second half.
Oh,
Brady in the second half.
Stop it. You're not. No, don't do that. No Brady.
Monty did have a couple tough weeks to start. I was like, oh no.
I think I dead ass. Like, it was either like the first week, like I think I was like 1-6 or something like that. Like, I only hit a game or two. And then the second week I did better, and then because I missed a week. I think last week or 2 weeks ago.
Let's fire it up. Let's see what we got this week. It's like I said, 6 NFL games. You know what that means? 6 opportunities to get better. So that is.
Yeah, like, dead quiet for a reason. Dead quiet for a reason. Dude, no noise.
Am I wrong?
What are the picks? Let's get the picks going here. Let's get rolling. That was unbelievable.
I try hyping up the boys. All right, let's get it.
Hey, why don't we have a day off, fellas? Let's go. Pick 'em, NFL.
There you go. All right, first game. Them Cowboys. Dallas traveling to Atlanta. And no, they're not eating those lemon pepper wings. They're going to play the Falcons. All right, and the Falcons are favored by 3.5 at home against the Cowboys. I'll give you some context here. Cowboys.
Did we already skip a game?
No, that's the first game on it. Stop. Let me do my fucking job. All right, it's the first game on the damn list. All right. What do we? That's on the prep. Oh my god, here we go. It's the first game on the prep.
I added a game. I added a game. Let me switch it. Let me switch it. Go ahead. Go Dallas. You pick first anyways. I have a really good game and a pick that I want to make.
Does it have to be first? Can we just get it be second?
Yeah, that's on me.
Second.
That's on me.
God. Okay. All right. Anyway, Falcons are favored by 3.5 at home. I will say this, guys. Atlanta coming off a physical game last week, and the Cowboys coming off a tough loss. The thing that I look at this week, fellas, and the Cowboys, it's just hard to have faith in them. And they're on the road. I get that. But no pass rush for the Falcons. 3.5.
Move to 3 now, so it's at 3.
Oh, it's at 3?
That helps out a little bit. I don't know if it does, but
yeah. I'm gonna go with the no, I'm gonna go with the Falcons here. No, because the Cowboys got some injuries. I'm more confident in the Falcons.
All right, who are you picking?
Falcons to cover.
All right,
they'll win by a field goal.
I'm gonna go actually. I'm gonna go opposite side. I think this is one of those games. The Falcons are so on and off. They've been really good. I just think the Cowboys keep it close. I think the Cowboys keep it within a field goal. Give me the Dallas Cowboys +3. Or we you guys want to go half? Give me the half of one there. I don't know what you guys think
No,
about
we'll
that.
stick with
No,
3.
we're doing 3.
That's tough. I shouldn't have. That was me too that switched that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Boone. I think the Falcons don't have any pass rush, but they're gonna be able to run the ball on Dallas. But I think Dallas is gonna be able to score quickly on them. I think it's probably gonna be a 1 or 2 point game. I think Atlanta wins, but I think the Cowboys cover. I think there's gonna be a lot of field goals in this game because Atlanta, they don't play the best at home. Like they've gotten smoked at home before, but I think with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, Raheem Morris knows at least like, hey, there's multiple games on tape where you just run it on the Dallas Cowboys. And I think somebody said it in the chat, like Trayvon Diggs probably out. Drake London's due for a big game. He's been
Mike out.
Yeah, Mike out. I'm pretty sure Demarcus Lawrence been out for the year. So I think offensively, Falcons are going to have a big game.
Next game we got Broncos at
Wait,
Ravens.
Who'd you pick? I apologize.
I picked Cowboys to
Okay.
cover.
Next game, Broncos at Ravens. Ravens, it's honestly, I think it's the biggest favorite of the week. Ravens coming off a loss, Broncos coming off a win. They're favored by 9.5, the Ravens. 9.5 against the Denver Broncos. This fellas, to me, you know what this is? Good defense in the Broncos, yes. But this is Ravens pissed off at home. And I get the secondary issues. Like, I get that. Bo Nix, he'll do his little scramble. And, no. Ravens. Yeah, I think the Ravens will win this game. But I think the Broncos will keep it close. I'm leaning. Listen, before this, when we did this, I was like, man, I could see the Broncos covering. But 10 points, I'm going to go with the Broncos to cover.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos to cover. So I think they win by a touchdown. I think it's like a 20-14 type of game. Like I don't see the Ravens putting up 40 on this This Broncos defense has been so good. So I'm gonna go Ravens win, but Broncos cover.
The way you started that off, I honestly, I'm on my paper over here keeping track of. I wrote down that you put the Baltimore Ravens. The way you were talking to start that, I was like, oh, Ravens, boom. I'm taking the Broncos as well. 9.5. I don't know. You kind of were going towards that way, Jeff. This feels like a fishy line. Like the 9.5 for this game. Like a good Broncos team that's been good. What are they, 6-2 or something right now, or 5-2? I don't know the exact record. Let me see real quick. 5-3. In the games they lost by 6 to the Seahawks, by 7 to the Steelers, and by 7 to the Chargers.
That defense will keep them in the game.
Dude, they've given up 6 points, 7 points, 9 points, 10 points, 14, 16, 20. Like, they haven't given up a ton. And as long as their offense goes out and puts a couple things up, and Bo Nix has been actually playing pretty decent. I think he's playing pretty well right now. In the secondary for the Broncos, they've been beat up. Give me the Denver, or for the Ravens have been beat up, the secondary. Give me the Broncos plus 9.5. I love that, actually. That might be one of my favorite plays this week.
Nope. Give me the Ravens. I think Lamar played one of his worst games of the year so far. Derrick Henry's going to be Derrick Henry. They just got Deontay Johnson. This defense, I've been harping on it all year, has not been good, especially in the secondary. But when you have like Cortland Sutton and then they got the rookie out of Utah that's been making nice plays. Bo Nix could have a couple of good drives, but I don't see the Broncos scoring more than 2 times as far as touchdown goes. And I see Lamar, Derrick Henry, they're putting up at least 28 at home. So I got the Ravens to win and cover at home.
All right, next game we got here, Miami at Buffalo. Tua's back, second game being back on the road in Buffalo. Buffalo took care of business. That's actually the game that Tua, got knocked out. But they are at home, the Buffalo Bills. They're favored by 5.5. And I'm going to be honest, guys. I know Miami with Tua back, it could be a little bit of a shock. Like, I think they're going to play better, absolutely. But there's just no reason to trust Miami right now. Like, give me the Bills to cover. Like, they're going to win by a touchdown. So I'm going Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. The Bills, Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. The whole team, now that they have Amari Cooper, like, this offense is going to get going. James Cook. Bills minus 5.5 feels like a steal. I don't know what's going on in Miami. Is there a world that they fire the head coach in Miami? Move on. Like, genuinely. It's been a couple years now. They've been to the playoffs, can't win in the playoffs. Now they're sitting, what are they, 2-5? Like, they're not.
They need to get tougher. They need to get tougher.
Yeah, it's not like at this point now Tua's back and they still lost. Like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, they lost to the Cardinals with Tua, and that was like everyone's like, oh well, they have Tua. Daniels might. I don't know. I love him offensively. I don't know as a head coach. This is tough. It's a tough look. Give me the Bills though, -5.5.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this year, Boone, just because with Tua being out, I think it kind of gives him a scapegoat, the defense looking the way that it does. But I agree with you. Like, Mike McDaniels, I'm sorry, that guy is not commanding a locker room. Like, the players can respect him, but as far as, like, you look at compared to the other great head coaches in the league, like the way that they carry themselves, carry the locker room, I don't think Mike McDaniel is that. So I definitely think there's the seat's going to start to get hot after the season for sure. But the Buffalo Bills, I think they have a chance to crack the Dolphins in this one. Give me a cover for sure.
All right, next game we got here, Jacksonville at Philly. Philly's a 7.5-point favorite. Jags lost Christian Kirk for the year. Brian Thompson playing really well. But to me, I think Philly's starting to kind of wake up now and play significantly better. I just don't know how Jacksonville has an answer for any of these guys defensively. Like, I just don't defensively. I just don't know. The secondary is going to get abused. Give me the Eagles to win and cover, and I think this might be Doug Peterson's last game as a coach. Wow. Yeah, I think this will be an ass whooping, and then maybe not like a big blowout, but they're going to cover, and Jacksonville's going to have to take a hard look in the mirror and be like, okay, it's time. Let's just get rid of Doug Peterson.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to kind of take an opposite approach here, Jeff. I'm going to take an opposite approach because I do think this Eagles team is really good right now. A lot of people have been sleeping on them a little bit, but now that they're starting to get back a little bit, like they're starting to turn the corner. I had them in my top 10 back-to-back weeks. I do think, though, there's a sense with this Jags team where I think they're kind of selling. They traded away their left tackle. I think this is like a Doug Peterson, like, hey, my life is on the line. My job's on the line.
Facing his whole team.
Yeah, and I think he knows, like, hey, things are going downhill here, and he's going to do everything he can to get the locker room up for this game. 7.5 in a game like that, a game where a coach is fighting for his job versus an old team and doesn't want, like, his head coaching career to end. I'm not saying they win this game because I think the Eagles will win it, but 7.5, I think, like, this is one of those things, like, even if the Eagles are up 2 touchdowns, like, in the fourth quarter, Doug Peterson's going to be trying to do everything he can to just scrape any points to make it look like it wasn't as bad as it actually was. So I'm going to take the Jaguars plus 7.5, just based off of that. Just fighting for your life. Just fighting for your life. Didn't the man won a Super Bowl in Philly too? Didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So like he wants to prove something. Give me the Jags plus 7.5. Not to win though.
We align, Boone. We align. I think the Eagles are definitely going to win this game, but they're coming off a huge performance. They went into Cincinnati, won by 20 points. I think they're looking over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I do not like. But when you talk about Doug Peterson returning to Philly, Trevor Lawrence, he's coming off a good game, didn't get the W. They're going to find ways to stay in games. And right now, when you look at this Philly defense, there's definitely a couple matchup issues that Jacksonville can take advantage of. So I'm going to have Jacksonville cover, but Philly wins it all.
All right, next game we got here, the Rams at Seattle. Rams are favorites on the road, 1.5. Rams are favorited. This game, Rams are starting to play better.
Very good football.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to go Rams here. I like the Rams in this game. Seattle still doesn't have DK Metcalf, I don't believe, and he's really the linchpin in their whole offense. I mean, you see how much of an impact that not having him has kind of made here. Give me the Rams to win this game and cover with Puka back.
Hey, you couldn't have said it better. Rams are on a 2-game winning streak over the Raiders, Vikings. That was a good Vikings team they beat. I still think they're kind of frauds, but I just think like offensively, great team. They're able to step up defensively. I think the Rams right now, they're rolling. -1.5 feels like a steal over Seattle, and they're at home, I believe. I think they're in LA. Yeah, or no, they're in Seattle. Either way, I don't even care if they're in Seattle. Seattle just lost at home. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, Seattle is ice cold right now. Rams are hot. Even if Puka doesn't play, I still think that the LA Rams find a way to win this game and they cover. So give me the Rams on the road.
Oh, here we go. Bears at Cardinals. Cardinals favored by 1.5. Bears coming off a just terrible ending to that game against the Commanders, giving up the Hail Mary. Here's the thing, guys. Arizona's favorited. They're at home. Kyler Murray just finds a way to keep these games very close. I'm going with the Bears here. I think after that performance, this is one of those games where it's like Tyreek Stevenson fucking up the way he did. I think this is going to like force them, and now especially with Eberflus, like he's coach. Speaking of the coaching for his job thing, I think this is where it comes into play. And Caleb, no, he's got to be better, and I think he will be. Kyler's a tough matchup, but I think the defense for the Bears are going to do some work here. So give me the Bears to win outright. I mean, they're underdogs, so I'll take them to win.
I figured you did. I had written that down for you pre-show. When I was doing my prep, I wrote down Bears in for you. I knew that was coming all along. I'll tell you what, though. Let me just tell you something here. Hold on a sec. I'm going to pull something up. I don't know why that – oh, I already had it pulled up. Miami Dolphins on the road, 28-27 win. At home versus the Chargers, 17-15 win. On the road versus the 49ers, 24-23 win. 3 of the last 4 games, the Arizona Cardinals have won a football game. They are starting to figure things out a little bit here. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, you might think Matt Eberflus is fighting for his job. That man has already lost the locker room. Locker room is done there. They don't want to play for Matt Eberflus anymore. I don't know if you've seen some of the things coming out this week. Caleb Williams' dad tweeting out stuff about the head coach, essentially. Some of the players in the locker room and in their press conferences making comments about coaching and mistakes that have been made. The locker room is done. They're done. Eberflus is out one way or another. I don't know if it's next week, the week after, or the end of the season. Done. Give me the Cardinals -1.5. There is no bouncing. You might think it's like, hey, boys are going to bounce back after that. No, that defeated those guys. They don't want to play football anymore. Give me the Arizona Cardinals -1.5, Jeff.
Boone, you and I align again. I think the Cardinals, we watched them, boys. That's a physical football team. When you have, like you said, Boone, they're coming off the Bears, a really tough loss, rookie quarterback against a defensive head coach. I just think that Kyler Murray is going to be able to keep this team in the game. The defense is going to find ways to create plays. I'm talking about Arizona's and set Kyler up in better field position. So I think Arizona wins at home. And I think it's going to be close, but I think when you watch the game, it's just going to be a clear difference of physicality. So Cardinals win at home in the cover.
All right, next game. We have 2 more here. Or actually, no, this is the last one. Sunday Night Football. Colts at Vikings.
Oh.
Yeah, Vikings are favored by 5.5. Joe Flacco gets the start after Anthony Richardson just can't play football. Where are you guys at with this? Vikings at home, I like them in this position. I like the Vikings to win this game and cover. Give me the Vikings.
Do it, Boone.
I'll tell you something. It means something in the NFL when there's a quarterback changed in a locker room. Joe Flacco took over the Cleveland Browns locker room last year, took them to the playoffs, and almost won a playoff game. Indy, they have been waiting for Joe Flacco. I bet you there's vets and players in that locker room who are like, we want to win. We're tired of losing. We want to win. They were tired of the development with AR, and I'm sure he'll be ready next year. He'll be good to go. You don't bet against Joe Flacco, boys. You don't. Jonathan Taylor's playing some of his best football. Michael Pittman's playing unbelievable football. Josh Downs is playing unbelievable football.
Shout out Downs.
Now you add Joe Flacco in there to help them out do that, and that defense is nasty. Give me the Colts +5.5. Vikings lost 2 straight games. They don't know what's going on. Their head's spinning in circles. The Colts might not win the game, but it's going to be a very, very close game.
Yeah, you're right again, Boone. Hey, Joe Flacco. Do we not remember where this man played? He played in the AFC North in Baltimore. He was going against Mike Tomlin, those Pittsburgh Steelers defenses. He's not sweating over Brian Flores and Alex Van Ginkel, okay? And when you look at it, Shane Steichen, he smells blood in the water because what did the Texans do just last night? Again, lose. So this AFC South, fellas, the Colts definitely have a chance. Even after going 0-2 against the Texans, the AFC South is wide open right now. And we've talked about in previous weeks, if you're the Colts, you want to rely on Joe Flacco. I honestly see where there's a chance that the Colts win this game, obviously biased opinion, but Colts definitely covering this game. 5.5 is a little bit too large, so give me the Colts to cover on primetime.
Woo! I love it. Honestly, Jeff,
Might want to change my thing a little bit here. I don't know. Now you guys got me thinking.
We have so many opposite picks. It is like someone's going to be you're going to either take a massive lead or you're going to drop down to like 4th.
Well, I could say the same about you. I mean,
we actually went the wrong order. Klotz was supposed to go first on all of these.
No, because it goes first to last.
Oh, is it first to
yeah.
best? Okay.
Because remember, so no one will just copy the.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Jeff's fighting demons.
Wait, no. You can't switch that because we do it that way. We do it that way, so you can't copy. So there's no
it's not
switching.
even you guys. That line is a little hefty.
Once you lock in, you're locked in. That's why we do the certain order.
Fuck it. Staying on business.
Minnesota Vikings fan for the week.
Because after I said it, I'm like, this game will kind of be close. I do think it'll be close. Whatever.
Should we let him switch or no? This is like a chance for us to fight back.
No, it's fine. I'll stand on business. I'm still gonna whoop that ass anyway. You guys can have that. Whatever you want.
Yeah, just let it slide. Boone, pause. See how I can insert the pause thereafter, and it just kind of goes right over his head.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's first start of the not of the year, but like as the full-time starter for the season. Klotz, how do you feel about that? By the way, you were really relying on AR.
No. Hey, well, I was really relying on Shane Steichen. And Jeff even posed a question. Well, what if they go Flacco? And what did I say, Jeff? I said, let them put Joe in.
Yeah. Well, and I always trolled you about it. And you always said, I think Anthony Richardson will be a solid quarterback. You weren't super high on him. You just thought he would do his job. And he can't even do that. So even you gave him a little too much credit. He can't even do his job. So
Joe Flacco, though, boy's going to look like a surgeon.
Yeah, Shane Steichen's too smart of an OC not to have a guy that can just operate an offense. Like you just need Flacco. Like you just need it. All right, good stuff. We'll get to Booner's bets and then we'll do our line score predictions. So if you're
I forgot I had bets. Do you have them?
Yes, I do. Let me put them up for you.
I actually think this is gonna be a really good one. I have confidence in this.
Penn State, they cover. And they win in Happy Valley. I can hear it already.
Oh, how do you know? I think Klotzy was looking at your notes, Boone, because there's something here that I don't know.
I think last week too. I think I went 4-1 again last week. I believe
he's been cooking. Boone, talk to me. What do you got?
I think let me double check. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the last 3 weeks we've gone 4-1. I could be wrong. Maybe last week we went 3-2, but I think we went 4-1 last week. But here we go. 5 best bets of the week, guys. If I'm correct, the last 3 weeks we've gone 4-1. Quick math, that's 12-3 over the last 3 weeks with our best bets. Starting us off, I did not change when I made this graphic. I did not change the first slide. All I did was I switched the team that Miami's playing because last week I think that might have been our loss was the Miami over, and it barely missed. But Miami this year, they have only not hit their over one time this season. Cam Ward, guys, I've said it a couple times. Miami are frauds. They're probably the biggest frauds in college football. Not Cam Ward, though. Cam Ward's a Heisman Trophy winner, probably. He's going to be, even though he's had the easiest schedule of all time to go win a Heisman Trophy, he's been playing very, very good, and they're still winning football games versus average schools, which, hey, you can only play who's in front of you. But they put a bunch of numbers up, and they give up a bunch of points, too. So give me Duke versus Miami this weekend over 54.5. Klotzy, free play for you. This doesn't count towards my 5 best bets. Duke money line over Miami.
I can see it. But
I think it happens. I think it happens this weekend.
Wrong.
Second game. This one I'm interested in. This is the one, Klotzy. You predicted it. You know me very, very well. The Penn State Nittany Lions, or however you say their mascot. They cover this week. I almost put money line on. I gave myself 3.5 points to be safe. I think Penn State, this is the year for them. I don't know what it is, and I'll tell you what, Klotzy. Typically, and this is how I know I think I'm on the right side this year. Is with Penn State, the last 4 or 5 years, I always take Ohio State spread. I'm with the Klotzy. I'm like every year. I'm like, I know they never beat Ohio State. They can never cover. They can never play versus them. This never happens. And something happened this year where back in my head, I'm like, this is the year. And I listen to the radio and I hear them say, although people say the same thing. Oh, I'm always just take Ohio State because Penn State never does it. And I convince myself Penn State. I have not convinced myself Penn State 1 year would beat Ohio State. besides this year, because this is the year. Beat up offensive line Ohio State has. Penn State can pound the rock. I don't even know if Drew Allar's playing. I don't think he's going to end up even playing, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think he's hurt, and they said he's like a game-time decision. And even with him as a game-time decision, I think they have this kid by the name of Bo. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Brupal Bula. It's either – I think it's him. I don't know. But they said, from what I'm hearing, Joel Klatt. What? Joel Klatt saying this Bo kid can play football too.
Then he can play football if Joel
He's
says.
a dog too if he needs to step up. So give me Penn State. Second or third one, guys, this is a lock. Josh Allen has hit this line in his last 3 games. There is zero chance. I promise you guys. I know I just took their spread. There is zero chance this week. He's playing MVP football that Josh Allen doesn't go out there and throw for 2 touchdown passes versus the Dolphins. The Dolphins games typically are higher scoring for them. I don't trust the Dolphins. I think Josh Allen has an MVP performance. Another statement game this week. Give me 2 touchdowns.
What's that line? Boone, what's the odds on that? I love it.
It was minus 120. It was
I
minus
love
120.
It. I love that.
And it might have moved, but it was minus 120 when I looked at it earlier. All the plays I always give out are just even or minus 120. D-Mott, anytime touchdown, minus 105, though. Love this play, guys. I think the thing with D-Mott is I do think he has a really big week this week. And I think it's inevitable to have him in the touchdown. And you can go right now, and I'm sure it's going to move by Sunday to like minus 140. You can get him at minus 105 right now, and it's almost a lock. It's essentially a lock. So go get it right now today before the day's over. And then the final one, Saquon Barkley over 84.5 rushing yards. Guys, he has hit this the last 2 weeks. Saquon's playing at an elite level. I know it's getting it's getting a little like brushed over with the whole Derrick Henry thing going on right now, but Saquon has been playing very, very good football. He is probably second right now in the NFL in Offensive Player of the Year odds, I believe. So they play the Jaguars this week, guys. We know how the Jags are. I know I took the Jags to cover the +6 or 7.5, but I still think Saquon just absolutely runs for over 100 yards this week. Even if you want to do an alternate and just take him 100 at plus money, I wouldn't hate that at all. I think he runs for 100 plus rushing yards this week. Those are my best 5 bets, fellas.
You know what, Boone? It's so good. I'm trying to bet right now. I'm trying to play some of these right now. I think it's elite. Honestly, I'm going to do this Dave Montgomery one right now because
minus 105. Everyone should get that in like today before that line moves.
Yeah, and you can boost it to plus 124 on.
There we go.
On FanDuel, at least they have it. So Jahmyr Gibbs is plus 100, but yeah, the running backs, like you guys know how this goes. That type of weather, Dave Montgomery's going to score.
Yes, for sure. That's why I envisioned the
32 times last year.
Yeah, I imagine the rain too. And in my head, I was like, how does he not score? I looked at every prop in the Lions game, and this was the one I was like, this almost plus money. It's a no-brainer. And I think Gibbs was like minus 105 too. So it's like a no-brainer that play.
And Boone, you know I want to watch you succeed. I want you to succeed. Part of the show, great friend of mine. But I just hate seeing you
Appreciate
go 4-1 every week. You're just always so close, and it's like you're betting on James Franklin. That's what you're doing. You're not betting on Ohio State lowering down. You're betting on James Franklin being able to do something. You talked about it. Drew Aller hurt. You're still trusting James Franklin.
Yeah. It's not James Franklin I'm trusting. It's that Ohio State, I feel, as much as good as they were supposed to be this year, they're extremely beat up, and it's going to be a close football game. I just, again, Klotzy, I have always bet on the Ohio State Buckeyes versus Penn State. I've been that guy. But once I start hearing people, and this is my sign, is when I'm listening to radio stations and I'm listening to other YouTube, everywhere, I'm listening around, and I start hearing people switch up and go, every year I usually take Penn State and I fall for the Penn State trap. I'm not doing it this year. Give me Ohio State. That's when I know to switch sides. And that's exactly when you hear the public start saying that, Klotzy, that's exactly when you go, this is the Penn State year. Like this is that time. And I know you know if it wasn't Ohio State, Klotzy, if it was like Michigan or something, and this point was getting brought up, you would look at me and be like, yeah, no, you're actually probably 100% right. Like as soon as the public switches that mindset, it always flips the other way. What is the thing called? The pendulum? Pendulum always swings the other way, brother.
It does. What's your guys' score predictions for this Sunday?
Klotzy, what do you think?
I think it's going to be – I don't think it's going to be a completely low-scoring game. Like we talk about, turnovers going to be set up in a good field position, but I think there's a good amount of field goals in this game. So I'm going to go, everybody's saying Lions 27 and Packers 24. I'm going to go Lions 30 and Packers 27. So they win by 3, but I just think it might be a little bit more high scoring given the turnovers, and the kicking for both these teams have been pretty solid all year. Obviously with Detroit really good, but I can't think of who. Green Bay's got a rookie kicker again, but he's been very solid so far this year. Can't remember his name.
Juicy J.
So I'm going to go on this game. I thought about it. I'm going to go 24-20 Lions win. Lower scoring. I think they get out of there with a 4-point victory. Give me 24-20.
I don't hate that, actually. I like that. I considered that score, Jeff. That exact score, I considered it. Calculated it. Realized I didn't want to do it.
That's fair.
I've been very close this year to hitting dead on the score, guys. I think 2 weeks ago I was 1 point off versus the Vikings. I'm doing this. Are you ready?
Ready, boom.
Give me the Green Bay Packers 17 and the Detroit Lions 27. Give me the Lions dub 27-17. They win by two possession game. 10-point game. I think with the rain and everything, it's not going to be. I don't think the over hits. I think the over might be like. Let me check. 50 something. Let me double check. It's at 47.5 right now. What do I have? 44 points. I think the under hits this week, boys. I don't think, and I know the Lions offense has been rolling. I think 27 points is a really good game for a team at Lambeau Field in the rain coming down, pouring. I think 27 points for a great offense is really good. And it keeps them at the top of the league in points per game. And they only give up 17 points. I think that's going to be a couple 2 touchdowns and a field goal. That's all I think the Green Bay Packers get. Give me the Detroit Lions 27, Green Bay Packers 17.
What do you got, Klotzy?
I gave out the pick. I said Lions 30, Packers 27.
No.
FA, we better lock in. Lock in. FA.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I was placing the bets. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just saying. So people understand that, like, when Booner does best bets, it's not bullshit. Like, hey, we're tailing Booner. Like,
I need some type of compensation here. Give me like 10 jumping jacks.
That's
all right. Let's right now. Give us some jumping jacks in the chair.
10 jumping jacks, FA. 10 jumping jacks. Come on.
I'm not doing no fucking jumping. I don't know.
It was like that one time I was with Jeff. I don't even remember where we were, and some guy said, "Give me 10 push-ups," and I'm like, "What?" And I get down and start doing push-ups, and then I stop and I'm like, "Why am I doing push-ups for you right now?"
I'm
not doing push-ups, and Jeff was like, "I'm not doing push-ups for you, dude."
Well, I'm big on you. Ain't no way in hell. And I looked at Booner. I looked at Boone, and Boone's like, Boone, you were just being like polite, like you're trying to be a bro, like you're like, all right, bet, like I'll do 10 push-ups. I was like, Booner, like, and I was like, fuck, I ain't doing no push-ups.
I realized it wasn't like a bro situation. It was a situation where we were trying to get outmanned. It felt like, and then someone was trying to be a bigger man than us, and as this was going on, I was like, I got a couple push-ups in, and I look around, and Jeff's like I could tell by Jeff's face, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not doing this, and I get up.
Yeah, Boone's like mid push-up. He's like, you know what? Fuck this, dude.
And then the guy like starts calling us out. You guys like looking at me like you can only do that many push-ups. Looking at Jeff and like you can't do any push-ups. Or like,
dude probably had some nice Michael Irvin in the bathroom before he went out and asked.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
He was wildly intoxicated. He was wildly intoxicated.
Oh, for sure.
Intoxicated. But hey, we had a great show today. Appreciate you guys. Edge of the D. We got to put
Edge to the D.
Oh, we got to put that up on socials ASAP before the trick.
Yes, we do. I should have done it today. Tomorrow, prime time. It will be up.
All right, Edge of the D. Don't forget. Remember it. All right, until Sunday, not tomorrow. There'll be content posted tomorrow, so look out for it. But Sunday we'll be live.
Grand Rapids, the garage. If you're there, show up.
We'll see you guys there. Until then, appreciate you all, man, for the constant support. We love you guys. Okay. We're growing. We're almost at 10.5K. Almost at 10.5K. This is my reaction to that.
Is he okay?
Like, look at this.
Is this what he looks like? You know, I mean, Klotz, you can't make that face, Klotz. You got to stop. This is not a good look.
Yeah, that's going to be me when
Klotz, you got to stop.
All right, we got to get out of here. Yeah, he's tweaking. Something to Toledo's water. We'll see you guys on Sunday.
Turn into
a
Love you guys.